Morning, Dr. Sharma.
Morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. How about you? One second.
I am also fine.
Sir, Balaji, sir. Yes, sir. How are things?
It is fine. I sent you an email.
I have
Did you
seen
see?
that. See, two things right now. That first, our 11 o'clock speaker is in hospital, has taken to his mother. He'll be
Okay.
joining a bit late. Okay. So perhaps your keynote address has to be a little longer till such time he arrives in.
Till
We'll
what time?
make it a
Because
jumper. You tell me how it is to be planned.
actually the issue was no that I had to at 11:15. No, I have another meeting.
No, no, it's okay. We'll manage. I am, of
No,
course, Ravi.
can we have Vishal Kale is there? Do you
Add
want?
him now. You send that link. Yeah, you send him, send
Ha,
him. Send him the link immediately.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. If Prasoon is there, he can also come in. See, we need more people to show the strength. That is one.
Okay, Prasoon,
We'll
I'm
add it
not
to
sure,
another.
but Vishal Kale will be there now, right now. 1 minute, huh? I'm just sending it to him right away.
Okay, okay, okay. I hope he's available.
No, no, he is available.
Mm. See, actually, na, though we are in touch, I do not know who are very enthusiastic, who will support. I
No,
do not
Vishal
know.
Kale is definitely very supportive.
Okay, okay, okay. So we can provide him one session also, not to worry. Just we'll rework it maybe towards end of the
No,
day.
can and उसको मैं बोलता हूँ. Now, if he'll come, I'll tell to him that for 15 minutes, no, he can talk about the marketing challenges in startups. No,
Yeah, yeah, any topic. See, it is end of the day boot camp. There is no
no, no. What
whatever
I'm
you
saying is
say.
after my session, no, he can
Yeah,
continue for 15, 20, 30 minutes with on this thing.
no problem. No, till such time the other person comes,
Ha,
he
yeah.
will always come, not an issue.
Wait, no, he'll join. Then we will tell to him. Correct.
Okay, definitely.
Partha sir, afterwards, no, we will discuss on that particular that I told you, no, that
Evaluation. Yeah,
Edu
yeah.
entertainment for that kids.
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
You are staying at Bhosri Award. You're
It is Baner Pashan Link Road.
no, in your website address at Bhosri it came. No, that is the
Yeah,
reason.
that is we have that production unit, no? That
That is
address.
on what? What is that production unit?
Food products, paratha, chapati, idli batter, and so on.
Actually, you all make it or what? Are they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's under partnership.
Hmm.
So now it's almost it's going to be close to 300 days that I haven't visited that place at all. Things are going. We mainly supply to all star hotels.
Oh, good. So it is doing well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, that unit is almost 27 years old.
Hmm.
So in 2017, I joined and so we formed a private limited company, Granny Foods Private Limited.
Okay.
So I have about 30% share in that. Like, I think
Because for
Vishal
that,
is
if
there.
any for that, if any software is there, no, then let me know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can help for that.
नमस्कार विशाल जी कैसे हैं योर
Vishal,
माइक
mute.
unmute your mic please
हाँ बिल्कुल नमस्कार पार्था जी कैसे हैं
नमस्कार नमस्कार very fine very fine
Vishal, see, I'll be taking the session from 10 to 10:45, 11. Subsequent to
ओके
that, what I
in
would want
three
is
minutes say I'll tell you in 3 minutes we'll go live okay so Dr. Prakash will take the session on his keynote address up to 10:45 or so from there you can start adding up the 11 o'clock speaker is expected to arrive a little late. Okay, till such time we have to manage the show. It happens. Yesterday also it happened. One lady, instead of 1 o'clock, she joined at 1:45, like that. Okay,
So
yesterday was
Vishal,
very
can you talk about the marketing, whatever we are trying to do with pop shows, no? The marketing in inroads to startups.
Sure, no
Vishal,
problems. Yeah,
like
sure,
how
no
we how
problems.
we how we plan to do the marketing initiative, and to what are the challenges which the startups face in marketing, no? And how P Combinator pop shows will be helping it, and how you are driving that whole effort.
correct,
Yeah,
correct,
sure, sure, no
correct.
problems, no problems.
Because most of the startups will want to do traction, right? The challenges are with reference to marketing only.
Yeah, sure, no problems, no
So from 10,
problems.
roughly around from 10:45, 11 onwards, no, you can begin it till that time the next speaker is coming.
Yeah, sure, no
Correct?
problems.
Yeah, Partha sir, that's fine,
Yes,
right?
sir. Sure, sure, of course. Okay, so it has almost gone live. So 10:45 will start up. Don't worry. 10 o'clock sharp. I'll take it up. So I'll call upon you. Then we'll go ahead. So shall we start?
Yeah, you want to start now?
Yes. So very good morning to everyone. Welcome again to India Startup 360 in our Startup Expo 2020 edition. And we are immensely pleased to see the overwhelming support given from all part of the world for the first day event, that is basically the virtual summit organized by GoPio, this diaspora of people of Indian origin from Malaysia. We had about 300 strong contingents visiting the yesterday's event, and I'm very happy to note that about 100 and more than 175 people visited from India across various startups have thronged in very strongly. And as you are aware that from today we are taking up that virtual boot camp to enable the startups who have exhibited their capabilities in our show. And there are about 32 startups who have come up and put up the stalls in our. And we have also sent the invitation to various colleges to encourage their student entrepreneurs to participate in this. And as the day progresses, I am damn sure that people will join and then get benefited. And just to give a brief about this startup boot camp, 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we have different topics. And this auditorium has got a detailed schedule over there on the various aspects, who are the speakers and what are the timing. So you can just walk in and then like have a look at it, and join the session whichever is of interest to you. But one thing I would like to emphasize over here is, since this is going to be absolutely a free of cost event, we have also decided to provide certifications from IS360 and also P Combinator as a common certification of participation to all the people who are joining over here. And 23rd and 24th will be the pitch day, where we'll be providing different time slots to the startups to showcase their capabilities. And a panel of judges will be attending and putting various evaluation parameters, and then they will evaluate. So based on their recommendation, there is a prize award of 15,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, and 5,000 rupees for the startups who are evaluated at the first, second, and third with good social concepts and financial capabilities, sustainabilities, and various parameters. So, without spending much time, I now call upon the keynote speaker, Dr. Prakash Sharma. So, He is rather so much so the Bhishma Pitama of our startup initiatives. He has been mentoring various group of people for so many days now, so many years, I should say. So he'll be giving up the importance of how this startups can contribute to the economical growth of any country. So without spending much time, I call upon Dr. Sharma to start up his keynote address and take the proceedings further. Dr. Sharma.
Thanks, Partha, for giving this opportunity to the India Startup team. And I'll introduce myself. I have 30 plus years experience in IT industry. Largely began my initiatives working with a public limited company, then moved to NGO. And then subsequent to that, I was with Biodevelopment Research Foundation, leading NGO. And after working closely with them on various agro projects, watershed projects, and also working on remote sensing imageries way back in 1992, where we used to do artificial intelligence projects. I transitioned to high-tech company where we were to remote IoT initiatives. And subsequent to that, I have been largely focusing the whole part of my career to skill resources and to help them get placements. So the objective is to create more employment through entrepreneurship. And then I scaled the software company to a size 500, did my PhD in entrepreneurship. And for the last 10 years, I'm supporting multiple startup ecosystem. I am the ambassador for the global startup ecosystem, which is spanned across 100 plus countries, part of the World Business Angel Forum Group as international partner. And P Combinator is an initiative which is a virtual accelerator, which focuses on building the ecosystems and enabling various ecosystems. So I'll just begin presentation. Partha, I can share the screen.
Please share the screen.
So I think you can see my presentation. So
Yeah, it
let
can.
me put it this way, like you would see passion framework. So passion as a journey has begun from 1996. It's a 2 decade journey where one of the challenges which most of the uh, entrepreneurs want to understand is what is the formula of entrepreneurship success. And this is where even for me, being I started an entrepreneurship journey, so the same challenge and curiosity was also for me. So passion, uh, uh, it is a strong desire to achieve an objective and to get secure feeling from that objective. So this is what is passion, as what I understand, a very strong desire on whichever topic you want to do in your career. So if you look at this particular framework, we are talking about these 7 dimensions: probing, innovating, acting, scoping, setting, owning, and nurturing. So I'll come to this particular framework, but at this moment of time, you can see that there are 7 dimensions attached to passion. If you look at the vision is to create an ecosystem for entrepreneurship, employment, research, and social initiatives. And the mission has been to help jobless and individuals who struggle, are frustrated in career, want to innovate, build confidence, and get going. So one of the challenges which most of the students in the rural areas they face is that how they can get a live project within from the corporate. So many of the time they come all the way from any remote location, like in India it could be Kolhapur, Sangli, or even way remote in Madhya Pradesh, Satna, and they come to search for projects. They stay in a small house, 4 to 5 people, and they keep applying for jobs. The problem is jobs don't come in so easily, and most of the large companies they take the premier students for internship or even employment. And this is where one pain point is skilling became one of the key focuses. At the same time, if I need to skill resources, the problem is where will they get the projects? And that is where the entrepreneurship ecosystem started coming in place. So it was much ahead of the international ecosystem also, I could say, because 1996 I initiated Passion. And typically in India, most of the management innovations, they take a backseat. So no one really understood what we were trying to build this ecosystem to an extent where World Bank also, in fact, had sent me a note that it is highly unrealistic to create such kind of an ecosystem. So to cut story short, what I did was we launched a newspaper, and it actually I was sensitizing this whole startup ecosystem throughout pan India, and we got good responses from students. But the negative part of it was that most of the IT was booming well, and most of the students who would do the products, they would actually go and start applying for jobs, and they would get jobs, and most of them would move over to USA. So one of the challenges which came across in the 1997 to 2003 were that uh, individuals were not preferring to start ventures. They preferred to get into an employment. So I took a back step, and I scaled up a software company to size 500. 2006, exactly after 10 years, there was one particular accelerator program which became very popular, and that was the turning point of the entire startup ecosystem, which is Y Combinator. And it just did well, and soon in USA the startup ecosystem started flourishing in a very big way. And I was scaling up the venture which I was working, and 2010 I decided to step back and look backward and see if the startup ecosystem is matured. And we found that yes, in India now individuals were investors who were willing to actually get into the startup ecosystem, and they were very happy to actually collaborate and also invest in startups. So it was moving from that particular model of 50% equity. It was moving towards a model that, okay, someone would take invest 10 lakh rupees for 10% equity. I would put it this way, that USA had matured, Europe had matured, but still this particular startup ecosystem was not in too much vogue in the Southeast Asian countries, because that was again it was no one understood what is happening, and most of the premier institutes, they had started nurturing the startup ecosystem. So what we did was uh, I collected a huge list of all the best practices from the industry, global industry, how these guys are actually trying to build this ecosystem. And that is where then through my PhD studies, Passion as a concept got into one model of actual crystallizing it, and it became more scientific in nature. Simultaneously, I started writing a blog which explains entrepreneurship using stories and poems, which is viewed by over 98 countries. So, cutting short, this is what it was. Probing, innovating, acting, scoping, setting, owning, and nurturing. So what happens is, in the startup ecosystem, there are only two models in which money comes in. Okay, one is if you are building, you're trying to solve a pain point, and no one has found a solution. So innovation plays a very important role. So now where these innovations come in, these innovations come either in the laboratories of corporate, or it comes in the college laboratories. And sometimes if the college is not having good infrastructure or research and development lab, the students actually cannot really go towards innovation. So for innovation, research and development labs are needed. But what is more important, at the grassroots level also many innovations are there. Many people actually get mistake that innovation is only restricted to technology. Innovation can be a process innovation also. Innovation can be as simple as a management innovation. So if you'll call what is Passion framework is a management innovation. It works on the principle of the hierarchy need of Maslow's theory, where we have the 5 layers that food, clothing, shelter is important, but at the same time, self-realization is important. So it works on the principle of Maslow's hierarchy need and the synergy equilibrium theory. So finally, you need to have an equilibrium. Whatever you're doing in your life, you need to have one balance. So first and foremost, when someone is thinking, that thinking is basically these days in the form of Google. So someone is searching. So probing plays a very important role. So what happens is in the startup ecosystem, venture capitalists prefer the probing route if there is a proven business model. For example, if there is an Airbnb in USA, we have Oyo. So investing in Oyo becomes much easier. If suppose someone is having Uber in USA and in India Ola, so probing will always play a very important role for proven business models. So then you would have seen a flood of business to consumer startups which came all over the world, and that was largely because of the probing, because VCs have a sweet spot in probing theory. But the angels, who are actually relatively a higher risk taker, and the word angel is because they like that person or they like that particular team, and the angel is willing to invest in an innovation. And from that point of view, angel investors actually will experiment and they may invest in innovation. But unfortunately, what has happened in the entire global market systems, the angels have also started thinking like venture capitalists. So again, they prefer probing. So what I'm trying to tell you is that innovation plays a very critical element in the startup ecosystem. Anything which you want to disrupt and reach out to the mass, whether it could be process innovation, service innovation, or product innovations, and innovation plays a very key dimension. And then you are having now these 3 points, right? Acting, scoping, and setting. You may be having great idea in mind, but you don't want to share with anyone. Now, if you don't want to share with anyone, that idea is just suppressed in your mind, and it lies, but no one is willing to take it. Most important thing is we encourage entrepreneurs to spell out their idea. Each idea is already available on the net. So none of the ideas we can say that it is totally unique. Each idea will have n flavors of imitation. So the most important thing is you need to act on it. You need to begin identifying mentors. You need to identify some ecosystem, some accelerator, incubator where you can actually nurture and validate that particular idea. So acting means a push. You need to push yourself to begin working on that particular idea and converting it into the product. But when you do that, you need to scope the idea. You cannot say that I'm building one event management system, and the system is going to be reaching out to pan world. That is not going to work out. So you need to scope. So you need to do small piloting. So what we encourage in the startup ecosystem is that you need to make a minimum viable product or a minimum viable service model. Just try to identify only a few interested customers, paying customers preferably, and you work on a solution for that paying customer. Once you do that and you're successful, automatically you will start seeing results and you can start selling that particular product and solution to other companies. So scoping plays an important role. Setting your environment where you're running a business plays a very important role. For example, if I am looking out to set up a manufacturing unit in automotive, so my logical choice comes Pune, or the second choice will come near Chennai, or it will come towards Delhi. Why? Because most of the component manufacturers are all there. So your environment where you set that particular business plays an important role. If you talk about IT, then Bengaluru comes first. If suppose someone is thinking of silk, then okay, we can talk about Singapore or China. So wherever the demand of raw material is there, okay, where the supply of raw material is there, and that is where you set that particular business opportunity. If you get into one particular wrong setting, there are chances that you're going to fail. And setting is nothing but, in Hindi terms, it is known as jugad. Also, it is compromise. It is something where negotiated partnership. So if you are, unless and until you don't partner with someone, no business is going to work. So this setting plays a very important role. And then obviously you need to own and nurture. Many of the startup founders, they actually get into the startup ecosystem and they want full salaries. So the investors are always wondering that, okay, we are going to pay them full salaries also, and they want equity also. So it should not happen that the investor becomes the owner of the company. Many times the investors end up becoming owner of the company because the entrepreneur is looking at that startup as an employment. So owning is taking full responsibility, being in that particular startup from in as thick and thin, and nurturing it. So it is a continuous day affair. You cannot suddenly stop and say that, okay, I'm not going to work on this particular startup. So unless and until a founder and the team is mentally not prepared for going through this journey of probing, innovating, acting, scoping, setting, owning, and nurturing, there are chances that the startup will fail. And the startup failures may be because of any of the reason. We have seen multiple startups who have built very good platforms, great product, multiple features, but no takers. Why it has gone wrong? It is because the scoping has gone wrong. We have not validated the minimum viable product, but we have ended up making a huge lock of products. We have seen many investors who try to invest in startups by giving $1 million, $2 million, $50 million, and want to build a monopoly over the market. But the net result is always losses. In fact, if you will go and check in the entire unicorn list of startups, we have seen almost all the startups have not made really money. There is losses of 2,000 crores, 3,000 crores, but the valuation keeps increasing. Now, why this valuation keeps increasing is because that whole market is talking about improved valuation. Valuation has nothing to do with revenue. Valuation is the social capital reach and the influence which that particular startup has on the community. Of course, it is making money, but more than the money, the value of the startup is in the kind of ecosystem they have built. And uh, here, when we are talking about the venture capitalists or the angel investors, they are looking out for 5x kind of a return. So when we are talking about 5x kind of a return, please understand they are also probing, innovating, acting, scoping, setting, owning, and nurturing in the venture capital ecosystem. So this is a very generic model. This generic model can be used for the VC community, it can be used for the angel community, it can be used by the academic institutes who wants to set up their accelerator programs. And so what we are doing is we research in various passion dimensions. It has around 28 process areas, and we jointly collaborate with seniors to write research papers. And there is you can be part of our AI driven research initiative because this is fully artificial intelligence driven. We actually do a lot of identification of complementary startups. Suppose a corporate wants to start their own initiative and they have a budget constraint. They want to do innovation, but they have budget constraints. So there we pitch in and we identify for them the various themes, and we closely collaborate and work with them, and try to give them a meaningful number of startups who can interface with the industry. Now, if you look at our journey, Passion Infotech, it got initiated in 1998, as I have explained to you. And today we have 2,000 plus entrepreneurs. In fact, we have 1,000 plus mentors. So this is an old slide. And we have many seniors, professional CEOs, industry affluent resources who are closely working with us. And you will see this particular passionate combinators where I have actually broken it down into theories now. If you look at the venture capitalist, it's the discovery theory. And if you look at the incubator accelerator, it's the creation theory. So you should understand, if suppose you are working for the startups, you need to understand that if you are working on a very pure innovation, then please get into an incubator accelerator, because that is where they will mentor and nurture. They will be having mentors. They will give you some small, they may take some small equity, but it is worth that. That small equity is worth taking that particular risk to join the incubator accelerator. And you will see that there is one word known as serial entrepreneur. Now, who is a serial entrepreneur? There is a company, K Ganesh. He started one particular company. Uh, he sold it. Then he started Tutor Vista. He sold it. Today he is with he and his wife are nurturing Tracto. Serial entrepreneur is a person who makes a business model out of a startup, sells it on the way, again makes another startup, again sells it. So that particular person keeps having multiple startups in the journey. So one of the things which you should realize is that what is a startup? Startup is not a private limited company, not a proprietary firm, not a partnership firm. Startup is just you have an idea and you are going to test that particular idea. So most of the time people are always confused. They say that we should open a private limited company and then we have to build a startup. The answer is no. Startup is just a idea and you're validating the idea. You don't need to make private limited company, you don't need to make any company whatsoever. You can do that particular test within a lab, and this is what Facebook had did, this is what Microsoft did. Most of the large companies which you see today, they were all lab projects within colleges. So please, for the benefit of the viewers who are students or anyone, you can begin a startup from anywhere, and then you need to test that particular startup whether it is going to really succeed. Once it starts succeeding, some investor says that, hey, I want to put a money. At that particular moment of time, you do a pre-series valuation of that particular startup and you get the first seed investment. That is the time, because what happens is many of the startups, they don't know the statutory requirements of a company, and they feel that I'll start a private limited company and if it fails, I'll just close it. But they don't file the returns. Now, when they don't file the returns, the problem with this kind of an approach is that this particular person, startups uh, director identification number is fully visible to all in public. And I am very sure that no person who is learned will want one disqualified director name visible on the website. So it is very important for the startups to understand that don't take it too lightly. Many of the time, what happens is the unfortunate problem in countries like India and all is that because we are assuming that each startup is going to get money only, either as a loan or as an equity, we are insisting people to start a private limited company. It's a dangerous trend. And the problem with that particular thing is, as I have told you, that statutory compliances, if it is not met, it's a very serious issue. And so the true startup ecosystem begins from colleges only, and that is where we are working closely with around 10 colleges in India, which includes Chetan Gaikwad Management College, the Singhad Group College, GSPM College, Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapith, GBS Global Business School, Aman Nagar College. So there are n number of colleges, and we have actually interest from international colleges also, and 50 plus colleges are in touch with us. So we are reaching out to them. We provide a free entrepreneurship academic varsity within colleges. We are actually guiding all the students. So what is more important, we need to understand that incubation accelerator is mostly, it is more best to the colleges, and government has also taken a lot of initiative. They have started the Atal incubation lab and Atal incubation centers, and they are investing money in that in a large way. So we need to understand that there is a creation theory, there is a discovery theory, there is a serial entrepreneur. You will see on this side entrepreneur who is part of creation and discovery, both you will see, right? What is an entrepreneur? A person is in a company that he is totally devoted to the company. The company director is trusting this particular entrepreneur and says, hey, why don't you start one business unit for me? Entrepreneur will get some funds from that particular owner of the company, and that person within the main company, like it could be within ICICI Bank, it could be within Tata Group, it could be within any company, Microsoft, Oracle. There will be a person who is working at a very senior level, at a directorial position. But what is the expectation? The expectation is this person has to act like an entrepreneur. Okay, full ownership of responsibility. If suppose someone takes within a company, then that particular person is known as an entrepreneur. And if suppose some full responsibility a person takes independent of a company, then that particular person is an entrepreneur, because you're starting a business of your own. You want to become Tata Group, or you're in Tata Group, someone has evolved to an entrepreneur journey. And while this creation and discovery theory both important, because you cannot reinvent the wheel. If suppose the wheel is already there, you only need to integrate it. So please understand that entrepreneur has to have that creation inclination also and discovery inclination also, because unless and until you don't do that, then that's a problem. So you will see over there that intrapreneur and entrepreneur, they are both sides of the coin. And you will see this whole thing is social capital, Maslow theory. What is this all about? What is social capital? Just for your information, you have seen most of the early unicorns like Facebook, Google, or you're talking about LinkedIn. You will see that there are number of connections. So suppose we today, if suppose someone is going to be hired in a large company as a director, the first thing they go into LinkedIn and see how many connections this person has. Someone will be having 500, someone will be having 1,000. What is the quality of connection? What is your networking capability? The entrepreneur or the venture capitalist or the entrepreneur or the entrepreneur or the incubator or whomsoever is there, the most important thing is how much social connections you have in the world. And that is one of the reason in LinkedIn, if you will see first connection, second connection, third connection also. And this social capital is your actual asset. Okay, it is not money, it is equivalent to money. That is the reason it is known as social capital. So my advice to the startups founders and the team are that please keep befriending each and every person. We have seen startup owners who sometimes shy away from a mentor. They don't value a mentor's advice, which is typically an entrepreneur is a person who needs to have a mind of their own. But at the same time, we always request the startup owners that please look at what the mentor is trying to say or the advisor are trying to say. They are trying to tell you for the good. Please use academic institute and leverage the interns and try to reduce the cost of operation. If your burn rate is going to be too high, you know that you got an investment of 50 lakh rupees, and from 50 lakh rupees you have blown 10 lakh rupees into media marketing by making huge advertisements. But please understand that after that 10 lakh rupees get exhausted, you are left with no advertisements for the end of 1 year. Your startup is visible as long as you are publicizing or you are buzzing. How you will buzz? You will need to work with the marketing team. You need to write blogs. I have my colleague Vishal Kale who will be talking more on the marketing challenges shortly. But please understand that social capital, you need to make best use of social capital techniques like digital marketing, blogging, campaigning, and try to build more and more buzz of your startups. And if you'll see over here, academic institutes are surely academic institutes will play a big role in creation because they have laboratories, they have infrastructure. Academic institutes, if they are willing to shake hands with us, if I'm talking about if there are international viewers, we will be happy to assist them to create entrepreneur facilities. Because let me put it this way, through my research, what I observed was that out of the top 100 global academic institutes who were nurturing startup ecosystem quite well, there is a huge number of academic institutes who don't know also what is the entrepreneur cell. In fact, in India, the B, C colleges, they are totally clueless of this whole startup ecosystem. They to such an extent that even the corporate people don't go to that particular college to hire students. So you can understand the problem, right? Because how will students get jobs and they don't understand the startup ecosystem? And this is where we are trying to solve this particular pain point and attempting to reach to the grassroots level programmers. Okay, so family discovery, family business is the discovery theory. Okay, obviously, what is a family business? It's very interesting thing which you should know. Apart from venture capitalists and the angel investors, we have family offices. Now, who is a family office? It's one large company, say Tata Group. Tata Group over a period of time has made lots of money. They will have a dedicated investment team who will give them advices on where to invest. And that is where the discovery starts coming in. So family offices are also one source of investments. Okay. And you will see this equity equilibrium. It's like a seesaw. It has to be balanced. The investors also have to be happy. The entrepreneur also has to be happy. Otherwise, one slight tilt and it is going to be an issue. So many individuals keep asking me that why you chose this particular word T combinator. Is it Y combinator? The answer is no. Y combinator is a formula. but y is equal to mx plus c. So in an expression for the benefit of all artificial intelligence users, you would be understanding a regression equation is y is equal to mx plus c, or y is equal to m1x1 plus m2x2 plus m3x3 plus c. So it is a combinator of independent variables which are influencing a dependent variable. And which is a dependent variable? The dependent variable is a startup. Everything is going to the startup. So an entrepreneur is going to the startup, angel is going to a startup, the academic institute, students are going to the startup in the form of employees or interns. You are having the product, price, promotion, placements, whatever you do, you need to understand that if any one parameter fails, your startup is going to fail. So P combinator is nothing but combinator of independent parameters which is influencing a startup, which is the y variable. So we have, uh, because of a logical reason, because y is just an equation, we are giving more meaning to that particular equation, and that is why it is a P combinator. And we are totally, we are not like a regular accelerator program where we are just doing a marriage of a venture capitalist or an investor with a startup. We are going beyond that. We are getting the best of mentors, advisors into our ecosystem. The a lot of large corporates have also shown interest, and we are genuinely trying to help the grassroots level colleges, NGOs who wants to start their ventures to become social entrepreneurs, and we are helping them at a very grassroots level to such an extent that it is virtually many things is free. How we make money business model is basically through references, and in case if we get a project for a startup, or suppose the academic institute feels that they want to actually give us for our services because we are putting great effort, then obviously we also need funds to sustain. So that is something which is there, but we are not actually trying to avail any grant, or it is supported by any public limited company or any government body. So this is P combinator with 28 dimensions, and we are encouraging any person to participate. Any management research student who wants to further work on passion framework will be happy to assist and guide. So if you look at it, we groomed over 5,000 plus jobless through Passionate platform. We groom candidates on ISO 9001, 27001, 20002, 2301, SSA 18, GDPR, project management, Six Sigma, R, ETL, data science, Java, C++, and you'll be shocked. It is just in $15 per month or $20 per month. It's very less. In fact, sometimes even free for the meritorious students. Now, why we are doing this? Unless and until a startup founder doesn't understand what is project management, how will that particular person be able to lead a team? So you cannot have one 22-year-old person become a CEO of a company overnight. That person will need to be a hire a CEO, and the salary of a CEO itself will be around 20 lakhs to 30 lakh rupees anywhere you name it. It is, I'm talking in India. In USA it will be on a much higher side. In Malaysia it would be on some higher side. So the importance of skilling plays a very important role, where we are actually giving the candidates guidance on quality. Like you can set a basic quality with ISO 9001. If you want to take security principles, you want to make secured application, 27001 plays an important role. If you want to build a service model, then 20,000 standard plays an important role. If you want to talk about the business continuity and risk management, 22301 plays an important role. If you are trying to comply to the international audit SOC requirements, then SSC E18 plays an important role. Data privacy, if you're looking out, because you're a B2C company, and B2C companies, your data will just move left, right, and center across the globe. GDPR, the data privacy regulation, plays an important role. Project management, obviously, it's self-explanatory. If you're making a minimum viable product, you should at least know Scrum, and you should know the project management book of knowledge. Six Sigma is, suppose you are working on a service model and you want to improve the processes at various stages, and you want to see how to optimize the performance of people, productivity, or the defect, reduce the defects, then you need to know Six Sigma. So why we are why we are trying to build this, and why we build proof of concepts for corporates and NGOs, is because, see, ideas will come in plenty, but the corporate will say, I don't want this idea, can you do some proof of concept? Now, who will do the proof of concept? If they will take one particular fresher today from the market, in a large company, a fresher is easily charging around uh, 4 lakh rupees per annum. And in 4 lakh rupees per annum, if that particular fresher is not knowing any skill, 1 year is gone down the drain. 4 lakh rupees you have exhausted. Second year, 8 lakh rupees. So in 8 lakh rupees, you are getting negligible value from that particular individual. The days where these guys used to go to the USA market after 2 years and they would start making money and there would be a return on investment for all the IT companies, those days are gone now. Nowadays we need people who are productive right from day one within the company. Now how a person will become productive from day one if they are not at all skilled? So skilling plays a very important role, and that is where we are encouraging students and everyone to begin skilling right from your after you complete your 12th. First year, second year, third year, if you all will be able to do projects with us for 3 to 4 to 5 projects, definitely you are equivalent to a 3-year experienced person when you get into a company. And this is where we are trying to have this skilling arm. Many people are very curious that why my website would be a little bit lousy, outdated. I want to tell you very clearly, we don't rely on building this particular brand by too much of advertisement, show, pomp or something. It is a carefully built brand. It has a brand value in terms of many seniors who know us, closely work with us. They understand the value of the brand. We don't want to make it into one particular next gig company and we want to sell this particular venture. Because if I sell this particular venture, I don't know the next person will that person be willing to give a free training or whatever efforts which they are trying to bring. So of course we do want to have the right kind of investors or right kind of association partners. So our main strength is in on the belief the students, the entrepreneurs have with us over a period of time, and most of the people have definitely got a value for whatever they are provided. It's like if I take zero money and I'm giving you 100 rupees, it is infinite return on investment. So the return on investment is on how much money you are investing. So if suppose someone is investing 6,000 rupees and I'm giving that particular person 2 lakh rupees worth of investment, so this is much higher than any investor would give to an entrepreneur or vice versa. So this is just to give that particular clarity of why the skilling plays an important role. And P Combinator actually got benchmarked in 2019 2020. We wanted to actually understand, hey, where are we right now in the global market? Are we because see, one thing is I told to you the don't go by this website look, feel and all. So definitely where our valuation came in, we actually did a benchmark. This was done by a UBI Global. It's a forum, I think it is in Malaysia and it is also in Qatar. It's an international forum group. So we got benchmarked actually to be on par with the top 10% global accelerator for competency development. So why they gave us a 10% global accelerator for competency development is because so many colleges we went. Vishal was also part of the team, and we were training students on entrepreneurship. In fact, thousands, and not restricted to only engineering department disciplines, arts, science, Ahmednagar College, management, and we actually got this particular benchmark of 10% on par with the top 10% global accelerator for competency development. You will see the value of ecosystem. It has been rated as 3. Now you will see this AP0 MS. This is our indicator. Okay, this is the P Combinator indicator. And we you will see the value of client startup is coming as 3.5 and the value of incubator program is 2.5. Now why this has got less? The thing is, we are not investing in startups. One of the criteria over here for the rating is that you need to have investors on board who can invest in the startups. And for that, then right now, what we have done is we have now partnered with World Business Angel Group. We have partnered with n number of investment groups. We have MSME Mantra, which has been initiated largely to support the MSMEs and the SMEs for loans. So we are improving on this. So what you will see, the point which I'm trying to tell you is that you need to have somewhere a benchmark. A benchmark is a reflection of how you're performing. And that is one of the reasons the startup students, the entrepreneurs have to participate in such kind of events in a more better way, because they will get a valuation scorecard. They'll know that okay, you're presently, you as a company is standing 3 out of 5. How you will move to go to the first level? And you will see over here that we setting up entrepreneur capacities in 10 colleges, 50 more colleges have shown interest. We are supporting Auto Nebula, which is in the Connected Transport Accelerator program, Uplift, which is focusing on the mentally challenged kids. We are supporting NGOs and doing case studies with them. Then we support the international startups for soft landing in India. If anyone wants to start a company in India and they want to take it to the next level, we'll be happy to do that, because we scale up. It is not only in terms of software development or testing. Our marketing initiative, Popshore, which is headed by Vishal Kale, he's independently looking into it. He we can help many companies to launch their products over here and scale them up and for the market sales. Then we are working on innovation centers within colleges. We are bridging the industry, academic, student, NGO gaps, and we groom the candidates in the startup ecosystem. So we have this Prospero, which focuses on market research, competition analysis, product launch, marketing strategy. And if you look at our tools, you will see that we have carefully built the entire complementary ecosystem for the startups. So we have our own project management tool for the startups. We have the startup hypothesis testing tool. Startup is an experiment needs an hypothesis. So we have the hypothesis testing tool. We have venture intelligence. It is a web scraping tool which scraps the data from the net, and we are able to understand this startup as how many competitors. We actually validate it for the market and operation research of the startups. Then we have evolved a game, which is a game on entrepreneurship. We have farm god, which is a very scalable model for aggregating data for n number of surveys. Then we have happy monk, which is for the remote interviews and survey. Then gift families finance and self management, which we are working on. New My Nukkad is for the newsletter. P Combinator app is there. We have our own ERP. We have FlyCup, which is for the digital marketing initiatives. So what we have done is we have set up a whole set of, and Ruptured Horizon is into AR VR. We have n number of startups who are complementing with us, and that is how we are supporting the other startups. So Happy Monk, it provides automation solution which helps to save your time and build relationship with your client. Any kind of video surveys. If suppose a investor wants to review the startup founders, we can put a particular question and we can do it. So it is applicable for customer satisfaction survey, employment engagement survey, customer feedback survey, insurance awareness, remote video interviews without human interaction. You will see that we are supporting global startup ecosystem. We are supporting the AIM BSN, the Blink Ventures we are supporting, which is actually to the Nepal startup ecosystem. Auto Nebula, Uplift Accelerator. Then US Impact is focusing on the US India relationship from La Cosmic Fonts, Bellison. These are the soft landing projects, and there are multiple website links. So now, after this particular presentation, if you want, you can ask me a few questions, and otherwise I can take you through one particular brief PDF on the. Partha sir, you are there?
Yeah, I am there very much. This is Dr. Prakash.
Yeah. So if the questions are coming, let me keep me informed. I just want to the next 5-10 minutes. I'm just opening up the global startup ecosystem report by Crunchbase. Something which can be of use. It is a huge page. With interest of time, I'm not going into all the details of this particular thing report, but I'm assuming that you can see my PDF for you, Partha
Yes,
sir,
yes,
and all.
it is visible, and not much of
So
questions
yeah,
over
so
there.
no problem. So you will see over here this whole ecosystem, the global ecosystem, how it has built. See the number of players who are coming in, okay, in this global. So you will see over here that how USA is having some initiatives. We have the Middle East taking initiatives, the Southeast Asian countries, and how the ecosystem is getting enabled. So please understand, everything is an ecosystem over here. So today, the startup ecosystem has nurtured. It is having n number of partners. So it is becoming relatively easy for the startups to work. I just want to show you. I'm skipping this particular thing with the interest of time. I'll just share with you the issues over here. See, if you look at this particular sheet, you will see Silicon Valley ranks one, and it ranks one always. 2017 to 2019 means what? The claim that we'll all be the next Silicon Valley, it is way far. Okay, what I'm telling for everyone, you'll see New York, London, Beijing, Boston, Jerusalem, Los Angeles, Shanghai. See the score. And you'll be surprised that there is no India over here. Bangalore comes somewhere at 30th or 40th. Okay. 26th is the ranking of Bangalore, India. And so what happens is, the first thing which all have to now mentally be prepared and understand that we have still have a very long way to go if you want to build the startup ecosystem in a country like India. The same thing goes true for any startup ecosystem in the Southeast Asian countries. Now, here is an opportunity where if the Southeast Asian countries want to collaborate, work, we can guide them on the best practices of the Silicon Valley, and we can take this particular ranking to the next level. This is something, it totally depends on the people out over here who could be the viewers who may do it offline or online. And what will be important is that these clusters, in fact, see, there will be no next Silicon Valley, there will be 30. Means what? Each and every country has now woken up and they want to build the startup ecosystem. So if you look at this, you'll see how the prioritization is coming in. See the ecosystem potential. See, moonshots, experiments, the creative theory, smart specialization, invest, sustainable advantage, maintain, low priority divest. Means what? At any moment of time, there is a lot of need for experiments, and these experiments can be conducted by the ecosystems like P Combinator using the industry academic interfaces. And then afterwards, someone can get into the investment mode of that particular startup. So, leveraging the student entrepreneurship ecosystem plays a very important role. I'll just show you what are the success factors. See, performance, funding, market reach, talent, connectedness, knowledge, and infrastructure. So you will see your connectedness, that is the social capital. You need to have a knowledge, whole lot of knowledge team available with you, and that is what is the mentor and advisory ecosystem. You need to have infrastructure, so you need to have physical incubator also. Then you need to have market reach. This is where something like Popshore or which Vishal Kale is undertaking, the market reach will play an important role, because without marketing, the startup is not going to work. Then you need investors in the form of funding, and obviously the performance. For performance and talent, the individuals need to be first be skilled, because you cannot start a startup without a person knowing what is how to manage people. So these are the criterias, some of the criteria, 7 success criterias, which internationally is accepted for any startup to see the evaluation. Now we'll also be doing evaluation for the startups out over here, and we'll see how the startups have been performing. And you will see that for founders and startup executives, where should I create my tech startups to maximize chances of success? Where should I open a second office? Where could I most bank the bucks in terms of cost? This is the setting theory, right? I just told you a few minutes back on passion framework, where you're going to set your startup. For investors, where do startups have the best odds of raising additional funding? Which high performing ecosystems have a gap in experience of local investor? Everything is setting. You need to have the right kind of setting. And you will see Steve Blank actually describing startup as a temporary organization very clearly, right? So whoever is now trying to get into a government book of knowledge of startup, that is totally different. That is something, because for getting investments, they thought that okay, I'll open a startup with a private limited company, and then I will give them a bank loan. The problem is the startups don't also get the bank loans, and they are having a startup and they have to give the statutory compliance. So it's an unfortunate thing, because the advisors at many time, the guidance and advisor, that advisor on board looks at it from a very typical example, that let us make it into a private limited company, we'll give them a dip status and we'll give them some money or a loan. But we have seen classic examples of the startup founders who are not able to pay the loan in time. Now, what happens to that particular startup? That particular startup's credit history is gone for a toss in the bank, and that particular person will neither get a bank loan, or in case if the angel investors are not going to invest in that particular startup, that person is in a mess. So we have to understand how the international market really work on startups. Okay, and you have to bring it to the table in this country if you have to make it into a strong ecosystem. So you will see that Steve Bank told that temporary organization in search of repeatable and scalable business model, very clearly defined. Have you ever seen that it is a confirmed organization? The answer is no. What is ecosystem? Defined around the concept of shared pool of resources generally located within 60 mile. Ours is a global ecosystem because today with remote, anyone can be wherever. An ecosystem success model. So each and every ecosystem enabler will have their own success model. And you will see over here, what is an ecosystem value for large companies? Why we scored less? That is basically because we have not believed in exits. Okay, we are not a player who were taking equity and then we are doing a deal flow with one angel and that angel comes and goes. For that we actually encourage our startups to get into other accelerator programs. So but what happens is, from the ecosystem, from the international ecosystem point of view, they are looking out for number of exits. Number of exit means what? An angel investor invests in a startup $50 $5,000, and he sells that particular startup to another investor at $10,000.
Sendil, good morning. I'm Partha this side from India Startup 360. So your session is scheduled, sir, at 11 o'clock.
Partha, can you mute it?
Okay.
You're being heard over here. So
Yeah, yeah.
uh, so this is what the ranking is. You will see that the Silicon Valley, how they are ranking, how New York City is ranking, how London is ranking, and you will see that over here in this particular ranking, actually India is nowhere. But right now we have seen that Mumbai is coming up in a more better way. You will see the excess for funding access. You will see that Paris, Singapore, and Bangalore are all standing out high access as well as quality and activity of funding. So you will see this for your see. And San Diego, Sydney has all standard for low quality of funding. Means what? The risk taking capacity in Sydney, in Australia, and all need to still mature up. And Seattle, Seoul, San Diego, Atlanta all perform worse in overall funding compared to there. This is this year. Maybe they have some economic setback or whatsoever. There could be n number of reasons. But what is more important is that you will see that funding is there. You will see from the market research point of view that Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Amsterdam, Stockholm all do well thanks to the startups ability to type global. Means you can see how even Jerusalem, Amsterdam, Stockholm all have startups, okay, and who are doing well. And you'll see that Beijing and Shanghai have poor quality of global market reach. See the potential which we are talking about. Means even if you start a marketing initiative and you want to take some China company to some international global, still there is an opportunity for someone to start a marketing firm. So understand that marketing is an open challenge for all the companies, whether it is from China or from India or from any of the third developing countries. And Chicago, Austin, and Shenzhen don't appear to create globally leading companies. So you will see that at the international level also, all are struggling and trying to have their own respective startup ecosystem. So and then you will see that local connectedness also, there are some issues. Wherever it is not benchmarked, means you should understand that that particular country or the city is not benchmarked. You will see life science focused measures of efficiency marketing, give it research grant, R&D, connectedness, function of number of tech meetings. Okay, local connectedness means how strong the team is. So you will see here, at the last, what I'm trying to tell you is that among ecosystems in the top 10%, Silicon Valley and Seattle are more focused on tech than life science. Melbourne system, Melbourne, the Australian startup ecosystem is more focusing on the life science. And Hong Kong, Seoul, all lag in scaling experiences, mostly technology. Means what? Sky is the limit for all the students and entrepreneurs. Okay, you only need to understand first and foremost the market and the business model and what is an expectation, and you have to act fast and skill fast if you want to look at it. And you see that life science talent, a count of STEM students, they're even tracking the number of students from the science discipline. And you will see that Silicon Valley, London, New York, Beijing, all of them score on the higher side. And talent, tech talent, what we look is the access, quality, and cost. If the average software engineering is going to charge 10 lakh rupees salary, then this particular startup ecosystem is not viable for us. Please understand. So the cost of the entrepreneurs play a very important role. And with that, my only suggestion before I end my note is that please make best utilization of your time for the students. Skill yourself. If it is an entrepreneur, please get into these kind of an ecosystem like IS360. Lot of effort has been put on this particular event. Lot of pain Partha sir has taken to actually bring this virtual event. So we want more and more participants of entrepreneurs. They should not see, entrepreneurs should not think too much. If suppose there is an opportunity to get into a virtual stall and get an access to so many connects, please do that today. See, if you're going to one particular shopping mall, you eat a pizza which costs around 500 rupees. And why you cannot invest that 500 rupees for putting your idea into a public view? That is best. Only you will be in a position to answer, because no one can help but only yourself. Because to best of our knowledge, any student who is completed his 10th standard, 12th standard, he'll definitely get some pocket money from the, or they'll be doing some small work or something will be there. So why will you not spend 100 rupees or 200 rupees saving to attend in such kind of an events and move it to the next level and build your social capital? Because the social capital will play a very important role for your future. And that is where what we are talking was, the whether it is the IS360 ecosystem or the global startup ecosystem or the World Business Angel Group or the Halal Angel Group, which we are supporting. The Halal Angel Group is a big group by Tausif Malik, and we are supporting them. So you have to now get into one particular groove and get going. All of us are there to support the entrepreneurs. We'll take you to the next level. But please bring in that passion finally, and try to nurture your startups in a right way. That is it. Thanks for your time. Any question which you want to? Any question is coming, Partha sir, or we can have
We can
Vishal.
have a separate session. Vishal, can you come online? Dr. Sharma, please welcome Dr. Senthil Kumar from Bangalore. Okay, he
Yeah,
is again a well-known trainer. Dr. Senthil, Prakash Sharma is rather, I would say, Bhishma Pitama of the startup ecosystems. So he's a very renowned, multifaceted personality, and we are very proud to have him as our promoter of this particular startup expo. And of course, Vishal Kale is also supporting him from the marketing point of view of nurturing the startups. So I request Dr. Sendil to introduce himself few words, and then we can
yeah.
start up the
So
session.
uh, nice interacting with you, and nice to have you over here. Vishal Kale,
Thank you,
I
sir.
also thank you. At short notice, you have been gracious to be over here. So I think both of you all will now move ahead for the next sessions, right, Partha? Sir?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for your time, Dr. Sharma. So we look forward to having you
No
on this
problem.
pitch day and evaluate the startups. Okay.
No, no problem. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks a
Bye.
lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, the organizers and Prakash Sharma, Partha sir, and Vishal Kale. So thank you very much. I extend my thanks to Balaji who introduced me to take up this session here. So I think you all can hear me.
Yeah, of
Is there
course we
any?
can hear you. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
thank you very much. So let me introduce about myself. My name is Senthil Kumar. I have totally 11 years of experience in the field of soft skills and training. I started my company called 360 Degree Academy in the year 2011. Okay, I've been providing training programs for the corporate employees, police officers, engineering colleges, faculties as well as students, arts and science colleges, and then nursing colleges, polytechnic colleges. I have conducted more than 1500 training programs so far. So this is about me. What we provide actually is we go to colleges, corporate companies, we introduce ourselves and the kind of training programs we provide for the employees as well as students in the colleges, and we give them demonstration about how the session will be, what are the things students will be learning or employees will be learning and implementing in their personal as well as professional life in terms of soft skills and life skills. Okay, so this is how my training academy is working on, and we have been into training and development for the past more than 10 years. Okay, so uh, so this is about me and about my company, and today's session is about problem solving skills. So I'm going to talk about problem solving as well as teamwork. Okay, so let me start with the problem solving. Okay, so let me share my screen. So are you able to see my screen? So can I have some responses from the organizers, host?
Your screen is shared now. You are visible.
Is my PPT visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible very much.
Yes, yes. So let me proceed further. So can I have interactions in between, Partha sir? So
Yeah,
is
yeah.
there?
Of course, it will be there. It will be there. Don't worry. Vishal is also there. We are there on stage. Don't worry.
That's great. Okay, wonderful. So thank you very much. So let's start with this session. This is on problem solving skills. Okay. So what are we going to discuss in this session? These are the topics we will be covering. Okay, I will be explaining all this, and I will also be interacting with you all. Okay, I will also be asking few questions here and there, and there's one activity I have included here which you can do. So if you can keep a paper and a pencil with you, so that there is one activity which is going to come which you can try doing it. Okay, this is my request. So all other participants who are listening to this particular session, you can have a paper and pencil with you. There's one small activity which you can easily do. If you're interested in, you can just give a try, so which will be coming further in the session. Okay, so right now let's start with introduction part of the session. I planned for an icebreaker, which cannot be done because it's a virtual session. Okay, let's start with an introduction. Okay, so problem solving is an art. So why are we calling problem solving is an art? It's a technique which can be learned by experience. When you come across many problems in your life, you should not be thinking that you're going to face some problem, you're going to get affected. And it's an art, it will be learned easily. So if you are interested in trying to solve the problem, okay, which you come across, so one must explore possible avenues to a solution one by one. So the problem solving, when I say the solution may come from any direction at any point of time when you try to solve it. So sometimes it may be very difficult to solve the problem, and the solution will be very, very easy, which you never thought about before getting into solving the problem. So that will also happen unless and until you get into solving the problem. Unless and until you face the problem, you will not be able to find the solution for the problem. Okay, so first thing what you have to do to gain this particular ability, you need to face it and then try to solve it. Okay, so unknowingly, unconsciously, you will be developing some of your skills which are required for solving that problem. So it will happen definitely. Okay, so here I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, so can somebody tell me who was the first person scored double century in one day international cricket? So here I'm displaying a GIF image. Okay, it is Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, Sachin Tendulkar scored double century in one day international cricket. So why am I discussing about this? I will tell you at the end of this discussion. Okay, let's discuss about this. Sachin Tendulkar scored double century in 2010 in one day international cricket. Okay, before Sachin's double century, okay, so nobody could score, not even 198. It did not happen. Okay, after Sachin's double century, what has happened? There were eight double centuries have been recorded in the history of one day international cricket. Okay, so one day international cricket started in the year 1971. So after 39 years, Sachin Tendulkar scored double century in 2010. So immediately after Sachin's double century, there were eight double centuries have been recorded in the history of one day international cricket. So second person Virendra Sehwag, third and fourth double century scored by Rohit Sharma. Fifth one was by Chris Gale from West Indies. Sixth one Martin Guptill from New Zealand, and then Rohit Sharma again, and then Amelia Kerr from New Zealand, and the Fakhar Zaman from Pakistan. These people have scored double century in one day international cricket in the span of 9 years, from 2010 to 2020. Okay, so now my question is, why didn't this happen for 39 years? So one day international cricket started in 1971, as I already told you. So for 39 years, nobody could score double century. But in 2010, Sachin could make it. Okay, immediately after Sachin's double century, there were eight double centuries have been recorded. So why didn't this happen for 39 years? Why only after Sachin's double century? There were so many double centuries. Almost every year there's one double century. Okay. So I will repeat my question. Why didn't this happen for 39 years? So let's assume somebody should have scored double century after one day international cricket started 1971, 75. Somebody should have scored 19 in 1970, from 1975 to 1985. Some two or three people should have scored. Why didn't this happen for 39 years? Why only immediately after Sachin's double century there were nine double centuries have been scored? Can I have some answers? Can somebody
See,
respond?
what happens, until otherwise somebody think in that aspect and okay and find it is possible, because if you remember, one day matches were of 60 overs initially when it started in 70s.
Yes,
Okay, so consequently, nobody felt, no, okay, this is achievable. I remember even like playing 60 overs, like the greatest batsman like Sunil Gavaskar had scored 35 runs. Okay, so one has to have the determination and the willpower to think in that prospect and then say, yes, it is possible and can be achieved.
yes,
The moment the first person achieves it, then people start following him and then he's a trendsetter. Yes,
absolutely.
this can be done.
Yes.
Something like that. So it is something like branding himself, stand apart in the crowd. That yes, you can achieve something. You can do it.
That's
That's my
wonderful.
opinion.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. So can I have some other responses? Can somebody else respond to this question? So can you share your views?
Vishal,
So is there any other view on this? Is there anything else could you find? So what could be the reason? So Partha sir said the correct answer. Okay, there's one particular word I'm looking for. If you can say that, it will be great. So can I expect some answers from you? Okay. Okay, I don't see any responses. Thank you. So anyway, so let me continue. Why didn't this happen for 39 years? As Partha sir rightly said, so nobody thought about achieving 200. So when Sachin scored, everybody felt that it is possible. So before Sachin's double century, everybody felt that it will not be possible because nobody did it. Once somebody has done, people started realizing it. Oh, is it possible? Then they believed it is possible. Okay, so the first thing in problem solving skills you should have is break your mindset. Okay, Sachin broke the mindset of the people, not only the cricketers, the whole world felt it is possible only after Sachin's double century. Okay, so we need to break our mindset so that we will also be able to achieve so many things in our life. So especially in the entrepreneurship role, you're playing a role of an entrepreneur. So what we usually think is we look around the people, those who are doing businesses. Okay, we see people, those who are successful, those who have achieved a significant achievement in their business, all those things. We look at them and we set a mindset that we can also try to do that. And even though we have the potential to achieve more than that, we don't realize that ability, capacity, the potential what we have. So that can only be identified, and it can be nurtured, and you can achieve many things in your life when you break your mindset. So that's a learning outcome I just wanted to share with you through this particular slide. Okay, so let's continue with the next slide. So best leaders are the best problem solvers. So here I have given now two pictures. One is our former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, our former Indian cricket team captain MS Dhoni. Okay, so let me share one of the incidences which has happened in Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's life. Okay, so why are they playing a role of a problem solver? Why? How come they are able to gain that particular ability? Because they have been handling a bigger team. They have been interacting with people. Okay, they are being in touch with people. So they communicate well with people. So they get the information, and they are in strong communication with their team members. So when that happens, they play a role of a problem solver. Okay, so as I already told you, let me share one of the incidences which has happened in our former president of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's life. So Dr. Kalam was designated as a president, project director for the project called Rohini Satellite. Okay, in 1973, the project was given to him, and thousands of people worked for the project. They have to put a Rohini satellite into the orbit by 1980. So when the time came in 1979, so they were about to launch the rocket. Okay, countdown has started, and a few minutes ago, the computer says, "Don't launch it. There's a problem in the um, satellite what we are going to launch." So immediately after that, so Kalam discussed with his experts, what shall we do? Is there anything else? Shall we go ahead launching it, or shall we stop it? His experts told, we have enough reserve fuel. Let's launch it. We will achieve. We will be successful. And Kalam went and bypassed the computer and launched it. So it was the four-stage rocket system, and two stages worked well. And as soon as third stage it has come, it got into problem, and the whole rocket went into Bay of Bengal. So it's a very big failure for the country, because thousands of people worked for the projects, for this particular project, and they have paid for this project, and crores of money have been invested for this project by Indian government. So it's a very big failure for the country. Immediately after that failure, so chairman of the organization, ISRO chairman was Satish Dhawan. Satish Dhawan came to Kalam and said, Kalam, Just wait, let me address the conference. Actually, Kalam was responsible for the failure because he was the project director, mission director. And Satish Dhawan asked Kalam to wait, and then Satish Dhawan went and addressed the conference, saying that this failure makes us to believe that we need to give more technological support. We will definitely succeed next time. He gave that assurance and came back. And next year, they worked very hard, and they launched the second rocket. It was successful. And this time again, Satish Dhawan came to Kalam and said, "Kalam, you go and take the conference," he said. So this time, what has happened? When the success came, Satish Dhawan gave to his team. When the failure occurred, as a chairman of the organization, leader of the organization, he took the responsibility of the failure, and he projected that particular ability. So when the team fails, okay, the responsibility has been taken by the leader. So that is when they become best problem solvers. So what happens? You have to take responsibility of a team, even though if you are not a leader. Okay, so we play leadership role throughout our life. Okay, you may not be a leader, but when you take up some responsibility, when you assign some tasks to people around you, for example, at your home there's a function that going on, and you take some responsibilities, you assign some tasks to people around you. And when you take up a small business, or it can be a small business or a big business, whatever it can be, you play a role of a leader throughout your life. So what are you learning from that? So you should become a best problem solver by taking responsibility and encouraging your team members and facing the problems what you come across in your life. So what I'm trying to tell you is that, so you have to take responsibility even though it is a failure, and then you try to encourage your team and face the problem. Okay, when you do that, you become a best problem solver. So if you take the example of ms dhoni, so he has come across so many problems. Okay, we could achieve the T20 World Cup, and then One Day International World Cup and Champions Trophy. So all this were possible only through his problem solving skills. So what do you mean by problem solving in cricket? When, when is the problem? Okay, so when it is a very tough time to take a decision at the end of the match. Okay, last over is being bowled by somebody. So who is going to bowl? What is the strategy? So he was having that good decision making skills, right? So when you have that ability in you to face the problem, so he was not just taking the decision just like that. It was taken after thorough discussion and analysis has been done. So that is when that problem was able to he was able to solve that problem. Okay, he could achieve something in his life, right? So whenever you come across problem, okay, you have to face it. That is first thing. The second thing, what you have to do, you have to encourage your team member and take responsibility when there's a failure. Okay, so then you become an achiever. So as a business owner, okay, as a team leader of any people, or it can be for your family, you play a role of leader in your family also. Okay, when you take some responsibilities and the tasks to be completed, isn't it? Yes. So I think you're all following me. So is there a yes? So can I have some responses that I'm online? Is there any issues? No. So can I have some responses in
Yes,
chat box?
you are of course online. You are of course online. Don't worry.
Yes, yes. So what happens sometimes internet issues may come. So I just wanted to check as and when needed. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. So let me go to the next slide. Here is the slide. Okay. So which is step-by-step approach to problem solving. Okay, I'm going to discuss about this one by one. So 7 steps of problem solving. It's a QC story. So it's a logical and scientific method of solving workplace problems using these 7 basic tools. Okay, I've given here: problem, observation, analysis, action, check, standardization, and conclusion. Okay, this is the scientific method, so which can be applied anywhere in your business. So since we are all business owners and we own a company, we own the product with us. Okay, we have a team of people working for our company. Okay, when we apply this particular scientific method, so we will definitely be able to solve the problem in an efficient manner. Okay, so let's look at these one by one. So premise of the QC story, and there are 4 important steps to be looked into. So plan, do, check, and act. Okay, so there are 3 steps coming in the plan: problem, observation, analysis. So what should you do here? So you need to identify the problem. Sometimes what will happen, you may identify a different problem. You come across some problem in your company, the indicators only will be identified. So when you come across problem, the actual problem, the root cause of the problem should be identified. So how do you do that? So you can only do when you have close observation and analysis. Okay, so when you can do that, so you plan for solving the problem. Okay, I'm just telling you lightly in this slide. So any further in the session, we will have a detailed discussion about this. And when you, what do you mean by do? Do is action. So what are you going to do to solve that problem? So once you implement that, what you are going to do to solve that problem, and then you have to check whether it has worked out. Okay, well, sometimes what will happen, you see indicators and you only treat the indicators. So if you treat the indicators, what will happen, the root cause problem will not be identified. For example, um, headache. You have headache, you come across times where you feel, your head is heavy. Okay, you feel pain on your head. Okay, so what is the root cause for it? Can somebody tell me? We apply medicine. Okay, we have apply Zandubam, and we go to doctor and take some medicines. Okay, so what do we do? Actually, we take medicines, right? So can somebody tell me what can be the root cause for getting headache? Can I have some responses? So what is the root cause for? So I'm just talking about health, so that you will understand in a better way.
It could be anything from illness to stress. It depends upon the person, realistically.
Yes, yes, rightly
It
said.
depends upon the scenario, not
Yeah.
exactly the person. Okay,
Yes,
I may be sick, but still I'll feel good if the atmosphere or the environment is good or it is conducive. Okay, I
absolutely.
may be fit enough, but still, like at times I feel stressed, then I get a headache. Both the
Yes,
things are so
yes,
the
that is
both the
it.
possibilities are there.
True, 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 sir. Thank you so much. So, headache comes from various problems, various issues. Suppose, for example, you drive for a long time, you get a headache. You sleep for a long time, you get a headache. You don't sleep for a long time, you get headache. You work continuously for a long time, you get headache. Yes, you swim for a long time, you will get headache. Okay, you don't do anything. Okay, you just simply sit and watch TV for a long time, you will get headache. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is that headache will come from various reasons. There are various factors. Okay, so suppose, for example, you watch TV for 6 hours continuously, you will get headache. So it doesn't mean that you have to go and take medicine. If you rest your eyes for some time, your headache will go. Okay, continuously you are focusing on something, you're thinking about something, so which may cause headache. But the solution is, you have, if you can rest your eyes, and it will be solved. In the case of watching TV for a long time, in the case of driving, You stop your vehicle and take rest for some time, and you will be recovered, isn't it? So what I'm trying to tell you is that headache will come from various reasons. There are so many reasons for headache. So we cannot treat headache in the same way as we treat any other diseases. Okay, the medicines, we give medicine to our body, but actually it's an inability for our body to function properly when you give medicine. The same can be applied in your business also. For example, you come across a problem. Headache is an indicator. So there's a problem. You are stressing your body. There's one part of the body is being stressed too much. So that is the indication. The indication is headache. The same way in your company, you come across some problem. Only you can see indicators. Okay. So indicators, if you treat, the problem cannot be completely solved. So that's what I'm trying to tell you here. Okay. Anyway, we will discuss that in detail further. So you have to check whether you have treated the root cause for the problem. So many a times what happens, we treat the indicators. So indicators will give temporary solution, but it will not be a permanent solution. Okay. So that has to be identified. The root cause for the problem should be identified. Then if you apply that action, then you can go for the next step called check. So after implementation, you have to strategize what can be done to solve that problem. You have to check whether it has worked out, and then you have to standardize. Okay. So what do you mean by standardization? So it is bringing into action continuously. So whenever you come across the same problem, the same strategy can be applied. So how can you make that problem, you know not to come for the next time? So what are the precautionary measures will you be able to take, okay, to standardize it? So and then conclusion. Okay, let's discuss about that one by one. So problem here, define the problem clearly. So that's what I was telling, and then last slide, you have to define the problem. So you have to find out the root cause of the problem. So as Partha sir was telling, okay, so get stressed, because of which we get headache. It depends on the person. Okay, that is also there, right? So everybody will not get headache for the same reason. Okay, it depends on person. So because I stress some part of my body too much, because of which I get the indication called headache. The same way, when you define the problem, what happens, you have to define in such a way that the problem has been completely identified. The complete picture of the problem should be identified. Okay, so you have to define the problem, understand the problem from the customer's perspective. Okay, sometimes what will happen, the people who are those who are working with you, they might have identified the problem, but they may try to hide their inability. Okay, if you don't look at from the customer's perspective, see, you cannot see the problem completely. So what has customer said? So what did there's a particular customer who bought a product and who availed your service recently, and they might have given you the feedback. Okay, how what are the problems they have come across? Is there any product manufacturing defect? Suppose, for example, it's a product, the physical product. If it is a manufacturing defect, or if I'm providing my training programs for the companies, if there is one problem in that particular group of people, so after my training program, they were unable to implement what has been taught in the session. So if that happens, what should we do? We need to understand how are we going to proceed further with this particular problem. So that has to be strategized. So you have to define the problem and look from the customer's perspective. When I say customer's perspective, the person who availed your service, your product, who bought your product. So he or she will have a different perspective on the problem, right? You have to get that report, the information, and then you can have a clear picture about what is the problem. Okay, trace the background. Okay, so you need to trace the background. What has caused this problem? Is there anything, any problem with our people, those who are delivering the product or delivering the services? For example, I provide training programs for corporate companies and colleges. Okay, so I recruit people for my training programs. I train them. Okay, before getting into the session. So when they are unable to perform what has been told to them, okay, that may also become a problem. Okay, the participants may not be happy with the delivery, the facilitation, the activity conducted in the session. Okay, if it creates any other issues, that has to be looked into thoroughly. So to be on safer side, you can record the session. So we have so many options available to record the complete session. Nowadays, it's happening online, YouTube, Zoom, and there are so many platforms available. So if you can record the session and then keep a copy of that, what will happen? You can refer at any point of time, and the background of the problem can be easily be identified. So this is, I'm telling you, this is from my business point of view. So you may apply the same for your business. Okay, so it doesn't mean that I'm just talking about training business. Okay, so it is applicable. Okay, if you want to ask me any questions, okay, so how this can be applied, I'm ready to explain it to you how this particular slide can be applied for your business, your problem, the product defect or service defect, whatever it may be. Okay, so what should you do? The step one, define the problem clearly. So look at the customer's perspective and then trace the background. So then coming to the next point, setting targets. So you need to set a target to solve the problem. So how do you do that? Express in clear terms the undesirable effects. Okay, so what has happened? So what is the if I'm not solving that problem, what will be the next step? What will be the cost? Okay, what will I lose? So if I'm not able to solve the problem, okay, so you need to see that. Suppose, for example, there's a person working for my company, is going and delivering the session in the classroom. Okay, so he did not do that properly, and participants are unhappy with the session. So now what will I lose as a company owner? I may lose that particular customer, that particular client, isn't it? It's a corporate, for example, it's a corporate company. So and they will not call me for the next time. They will not give me orders. Okay. So that's the undesirable effect I have. Okay. Quantify the loss. In terms of money, you can quantify. For example, that particular company, I have signed up a contract for 1 year. I will be providing all these training programs. Every month there's a training program. Okay, so I have segregated and planned. I scheduled in such a way that there's a complete package of the training program will be given to their employees. So, for example, I charge 3 lakhs for the company. So what will be the loss? My loss is 3 lakhs, right? So I will be losing 3 lakhs of money. Yes. So, and then set the target for improvement. So now we have seen undesirable effect. So if I don't solve my problem, what will happen? So how much money I will lose? In terms of money, you can quantify the, since we are all into the business, money is the major factor which can be considered when quantifying the loss. The second factor can be people around you, the people, those who are working for the company or the customers. Okay, if they are individual customers, okay, if it is not a big organization, that can also be quantified, right? Set the target for improvement. So you have to set a target. How are you going to solve the problem? How much time will you be taking? Okay, so where are you going to end up? Okay, so there's a goal called SMART goal, we call it as, right? So you have to apply that strategy, and then the target should have, what should it has? It should have existing status. So what is the existing? There's a training program which has been delivered by one of my team members. Okay, he delivered a program, and the existing status is the program was not good. The participants are completely unhappy. The company is unhappy with the product or the service what I have provided. Right? Improvement status. How am I going to improve my people? Okay, in terms of delivery and facilitation in the classroom, and conducting the activities in the classroom, and then following the people participants up to implement whatever they have learned in that session, right? So improvement status should be recorded. What kind of training programs am I going to provide for my employees, my team? Okay. Is there anything else I have to train, or should I ask them to take up any other e-learning courses, or is there any book I can refer to them so that they can read that book completely and understand and then come for the session? So these are all examples I'm giving for my business. It can easily be applied for your business also. Okay, and then you have to mention the time span. When are you going to do that? If you're taking long time for a simple problem, so it will not be feasible for the company as well as for the people, the customer, those who are getting your services or products, right? So this is in this step, what should you do? You have to set targets and quantify the loss, and undesirable effects should be written, okay, clearly, so that you will know what will be the next cause, next defect, or what will you lose. Okay, once you know that, you will be working on that. So here I have given few examples. Just have a look. To reduce the waiting time in the review process from 3 days to 1 day by 30th November 2009. Okay, so this is one example I have given to reduce the waiting time in the review process. So when you do review, there's a process going on in a company. So it takes 3 days to complete one review. So how am I going to reduce it to 1 day? Should I recruit more people for that work, or is there anything I have to do in terms of technology? Should I avail any other technology available? Okay, so all those things should be thought about. And then to increase the placement number from 2 students to 40 students by March 2020, right? So this is for colleges. So college clients, what will they expect? They will expect their students to be placed, right? So last year they got selected, 2 students have got selected. How am I going to improve this? So how am I going to make 40 students to get selected in an interview? So is there any strategy? Should I provide any other training programs? For example, if students are not able to complete or pass the aptitude exams, so we need to provide more aptitude trainings, right? So there will be a session, there will be a round called group discussion. So if many students have failed in that group discussion, that means I have identified what is the problem. Students are unable to perform well during group discussion. So I can provide them 5 6 group discussion session for each batch. Since last time, for example, I'm telling, since last time we have provided since we have provided only one group discussion for each batch last time, students are unable to perform better. So many are getting failed in that particular round. So I can increase the number of practice sessions so that they can have better idea about how it can be implemented. Okay. So and then to reduce the number of reviews from 12% to 1% by December 2020. Okay, so 12% now there's a review. Okay, I have to review these many documents. 12% of the entire data I have to review. So how can I make it 1%? Okay, you cannot make it zero. Okay, but all of a sudden you cannot go from 12 to 0. But if you can try to reduce it, okay, over a period of time, you will definitely be able to achieve it. Okay, zero tolerance. Okay, and then there's one more example in this slide to improve on time delivery from 87% to 98. For example, Amazon, Flipkart, if you take, so how are they doing this process? So how are they making the delivery on time? Okay, so they are keeping the customers, engaged with their information, their update they are giving. Your product may reach tomorrow between this particular time, 9 to 11, something like that. They provide, right? So how it can be improved? How they can improve that particular delivery 98%? Okay, this has to be written. These are the examples. Okay, you have to write as a statement before getting into the problem. Okay, I mean before trying to solve the problem. And then second step, we have come to the second step. So let's look at the remaining first step once again, so that you will have a better idea. This is problem. Define the problem, and then you have to set a target, and you have to write down the problem statement before getting into the next step. Right? This is the first step we're going to do. Right? And then the second step says observation. So what should you do during observation? So investigate the problem from different viewpoints. So when I say different viewpoints, you need to have a discussion with your team members. So as an individual, I may have a different perspective about the problem. My thought process will be different. When I have a brainstorm with the people, or if I try to investigate with the people, about the problem, I will get different viewpoints. Why can't we do like this? Is there anything else we can do so to solve this problem? Is it feasible to apply this strategy? Okay, we cannot take a decision blindly. We have to investigate the problem, understand the problem, and then
Mr. Sendil, are you there? Your voice is stuck. Maybe the network error or something.
you need to have a brainstorming session with your team. Okay, how this problem can be solved, and then collect all the relevant data from the meeting. Okay, even though you come across some irrelevant data during brainstorming session, you should not ignore, taking the irrelevant data. At the end, what should you do? You have to collect only the relevant data. It's filtering. You have to record everything, whatever you get from that meeting, and then finally you take only the relevant data, the solutions, the ideas, strategies which are feasible to be applied for the problem, okay, to be solved. Right? Investigate the time, place, location, type, and symptoms of the problem. Okay. Yes. And then question the fundamentals using 5W and 1H question. Okay. So these are the 5Ws: what, where, why, who, when. So if you ask all these questions, what will happen? You will have a better observation, better idea about the problem, and then you have to ask one H question, that is called how. How am I going to do this? How are we going to proceed further with this? Okay, so focus is get close to the process. Yes. So during observation stage, what should you do? You have to investigate from different viewpoints. For that, you need to have a meeting with people, collect the relevant data, and then you have to identify the time, place, location, the type, symptoms of the problem, ask 5W and 1H question. Okay. So all these things you should be doing during observation stage. So what did we discuss in the first step? Define the problem and setting targets, and write down the statement. Write down in a sheet of paper, or you can put it in your system also. You can put it as a desktop image also, this statement, so that you will be looking at the statement every now and then, and you will have that idea that you are going to solve that problem. You have to solve that problem. Okay, there will be a continuous remembrance will be there on your mind. Okay, so these are these two steps. Okay, we have discussed so far, and I'm going to the next step called analysis. So what you have to do during analysis, identify potential causes. Okay, so you have to analyze whatever you have collected from the last two steps. Okay, one is to define the problem, and then during defining the problem, you have already done setting targets and writing the problem statement. And the second observation, you have collected all the information. Right now, you are going to analyze what you have collected, the data you have collected. Major elements that contribute for causes. Okay, so which are the major elements? You have already collected the data is with you, and you have already collected the relevant data. You have to filter that data and that can be contributed to the cause. Based on the data collected, validate the potential causes and establish root cause. Initially, as I was telling you, root cause of the problem should be identified before getting into the problem. Okay. Root cause may not be identified initially, but you should continuously try to identify the root cause. Right? So experiment with the process and then investigate the relationship between possible causes and effect, cause and effect. Yes, establish the root cause. So during analysis stage, okay, you are going to filter the data and you are going to look into only the major elements that contribute the cause, and you will also be able to find out the root cause of the problem. Yes. Let's go to the next step called action. So as I already told you, during action, during implementation, during what you are going to do to solve that problem. Okay. So identify the solution for the root cause. Solution. So when you know what is the root cause, you will be identifying the permanent solution. When you know the indicators of the problem, you can only give temporary solution for the problem. Okay. For example, as I was talking about. So I found, let me take an example of my training programs. Okay. So now I have not identified the root cause of the problem. The facilitator, the trainer went to the session and he implemented the session well, and he has given the examples and the activities he has conducted in an efficient way. But participants were unable to get the entire information from the session. So there could be reasons with the surrounding where they are sitting in the classroom, or the classroom setup might have been made in such a way that they could not attentively listen to the session. There was some noisy environment where they were sitting, or the mic was not properly working, but the trainer has delivered efficiently. So that case, what will happen? We need to look into the venue of the session where it has happened. Okay, is there anything else can we change in terms of mic or the position, how they are sitting in the classroom during conducting the activity? Also, if that particular classroom is not sufficient for the participants move here and there, and there will be a failure of the activity. Okay, so here what happened, I found out the root cause. The trainer was able to perform the session in an efficient manner, but the environment where they were sitting and the equipments provided in that session was not effective. So because of which session was a failure. So during action, so you are going to implement the solution for the root cause. Okay. So suppose if I call that trainer and counsel the trainer because you did not conduct the session properly, that particular client is asking me. So there is no proper outcome from the session. So you need to upgrade yourself. If I tell like that, So what will happen? So I'm trying to solve the wrong problem, so which is not actually there. Yes,
Madam, morning. Hello, madam.
sir, I have some
Yeah, madam.
disturbances. Can Partha sir, I'm able to hear your voice. Okay, so thank you, sir. Let me proceed further. Okay, so as I was telling, so if I'm treating the wrong problem, what will happen? So I may come across the same problem for the next time. If I'm not telling the host, those who are doing the, those who are setting up the classroom for the training program, if it is not working out, if it is not feasible, if it is not good, well enough for the participants to move here and there during activities, and that's a failure. Okay, so I have to treat the right problem. For that, I need to find out the root cause. I need to implement and apply the solution for the root cause. Understand the technical and economical implications. Okay. Is there anything else can I do to solve this problem? Is there economical implications when I say, so how much will it cost for the host or the client to arrange the proper venue? So if it is not feasible for them, they will not look for the training program. So how can I give better training program using the existing materials and equipments provided by them? So is there any strategy or is there anything I can change in my session to make it effective? So that can also be looked into, and then implement the solution on a trial basis. Okay, on when I say trial basis, you can try in one or two places. See, when you have found out the solution, if you try to implement everywhere, okay, so you may come across more expenses. Okay, so if that solution is not working out, or if you come across any other solution which is feasible than the initial solution, so which cannot be implemented later because you have spent a lot of time, energy, money, all those things to implement the solution. So that is why I'm telling you, you need to do it on trial basis. Okay, let's see whether it works out, and should I continue with the same solution for the other problems also, or the same kind of problems if I come across, will I be applying the same solution, or is there anything else I can just modify in the solution and then apply it? Okay, how can I make it effective? Effective as well as economical. So ensure the validity of the solution. Okay, so how long will it be? Okay, so the solution what you are applying may not be feasible after, for example, after 6 months or 1 year. The solution what you have applied, you may have to change the strategy little and modify little here and there, and then fine tune the solution. So it will happen. So for that, you need to think about long term implementation also. How long will it be valid? And then side effects can be identified and eliminated. So during action stage, these are the things you are going to do in solving the problem. And then check. So what should you do? Check. You have implemented the problem. Okay. How it has impacted. So what is the impact of the solution you have implemented? So I have a problem. So the trainer is not effective, or the venue is not good, the equipments provided there is not good. So why am I telling? Because I'm giving you an example that I come across in my training programs. Okay, so the same can be applied for your business also. Okay, don't think that I'm just only talking about the trainings what I'm providing. So the services, the kind of service you provide can be little customized. Okay, the points I'm sharing here can be customized for your businesses also, right? Check the effectiveness of the implementation. You have to check how did I implement, so whether it has worked out. Okay, should I continue with the same, or is there anything else should I consider further? Okay, all those things you have to do. Then find out how well the recurrence has been prevented. So have you prevented the problem through your solution, what you have implemented, and then convert the results in terms of money, quality, ease of operation. For example, now I have implemented the problem. So I'm checking in terms of money. So if I would have not applied this solution for the problem, so I've already written that I have quantified what will be my loss, right? So now again you have to write how much money I have saved because of this particular solution. I have implemented this solution, so how much money I have saved, how much quality I have improved, so how my operations have become easier after implementing this particular solution for the problem, right? So if the problem still persists, go back to step 2. So why? Because you might have identified the temporary indicators for the problem of the problem. Okay, temporary indicators, if you treat, you cannot solve that problem. You need to identify the root cause of the problem. Go back to step 2 if it doesn't work. Okay, and then comes standardization. So eliminate the problem permanently by standardizing. For example, let me talk about my training program. So now, unless the client provides good speakers, mic, and the chairs available in the classroom, and without any noise around the venue, okay, if they provide, then only we will conduct the training program. So these are the things which we need to consider before getting into the training program. If I do that, what will happen? I am standardizing my training programs in such a way that before getting into that training, I will look into the venue. So I will check the equipments available there. So whether is it will it be suitable for this session, what am I going to conduct. So if the venue is very small, if I'm planning for some different activities which needs a lot of space to be available, there are some outbound training programs also happening. So recently I did for the ESN MR at Chennai, one of the resorts. So where we conducted many outbound activities, and the previous day itself I went there and I just looked into uh, various facilities available there, and then I planned for all those activities. So this has to be done before getting into that, right? So once I reached there, I planned something, I prepared a PPT where I have put all the activities guidelines to be followed by the participants, but the venue, at that venue we don't have the equipments available for the activity. What will happen? It will be a failure. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you from this standardization is I standardize my training programs that I need a venue with so and so equipment, so and so facilities available, so that I can conduct the training programs in an efficient way. Okay, so and then standardize to prevent reverting to old ways. Okay, you should not go back to the old way again. So anyway, if they provide money, if they give me money, I will conduct the session anywhere. So that should not be the case. So for your business, you need to have some standardization. You need to have some equipments to be prepared initially in terms of my training programs I'm talking about. Okay, and then educate new employees. Suppose I'm recruiting somebody new. Okay, the soft skills trainer, so I have to teach him or teach her. So what is our procedure, what are we doing before getting into the session. Okay, what should we check before taking up a training program. Okay, so all these things I have to educate new employees so that they will also be aware that before getting into that, these are the things we need to check. So once we educate them, we will educate everyone concerned on the revised standards and explain why they have to follow it. Okay, and you need to explain them why should it be followed. Okay, So sometimes what will happen, the solution what you have identified may not be needed over a period of time. It might have been standardized. Okay, you need not worry about what you have been following for a long time. Okay, it may not be required also. That has to be investigated and thoroughly examined. So before following it. Okay, and then conduct periodic audit to ensure adherence to standards. Okay, so you have to audit every time. You have to check whether is it working out. Do I need that particular rule should be followed before getting into that. Okay, so all those things should be looked into in the standardization. And then comes conclusion, step 7. Okay, what should you do here? Document it. What have you done? Okay, so you have tried solving the problem, you have implemented and you have strategized the solution for the problem, and you have come across all these steps. Final step, you have to record it. You have to keep a record of what has happened, how did the problem came, and what was the root cause of the problem, and what was the solution you have identified to solve that problem. How did you implement? Is there any other difficulty you have come across during implementation? So after implementing, whether it has really worked out, all these things, if you record, what will happen when you come across the same problem next time, you already have the experience of doing all these things, and you can just take the ready-made solution and apply it. Okay, sometimes you need to customize little here and there, and then fine tune it and then apply it. So for that, you need to have your history. What have you done? So you need to document the QC story. What have you done in your company, and then review it once again, and then what you did well. Okay, so that should also be recorded, and then what you could have done better. Is there anything else you could have done better to make it better? And then present the QC story to subordinates and peers and superiors. And those who are working for your company, there will be a team, right? You have to tell them. So how did this happen? What is the secret behind it? Okay. So when you teach them what will happen, they may come across any other problem and they will have the confidence that they can solve it, because you have already shared with them the problem what you have come across in your the business life, and so they will have encouragement and confidence that they can solve that problem. So if you look from the distance, you may not know that whether will I be able to solve the problem. Okay, as I was talking about Sachin's double century, and before Sachin's double century, everybody felt it is not possible. So when Sachin scored, it came into picture, and everybody felt it is possible. So why? Because people have seen him scoring double century. Okay, if somebody who has not seen that and who is having no knowledge about it, so somebody have scored double century, so then the motivation will not be there to make a record to cross double century, right? So plan for future improvements. Okay, and then there's a game here, as I already told you in the initial part of the session. So there's a small activity I'm going to share. So are you all online? So am I audible? So can I have some responses from Partha sir or Vishal sir?
Yes, sir, it is definitely audible.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. So let me proceed with the activity. So sir, Partha sir, if you can do this activity, just give a try, sir. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
try. I heard there is no evaluation.
yeah, there's no evaluation, but still, I request all the participants, those who are attending this training program,
They need to
there's a game called T game. Okay.
uh, through our
So what?
auditorium. Of course, they will be able to do it.
Yes, I understand, but so I will be giving you the guidelines, so it can easily be done. So if you follow my guideline, okay. So you need to make a perfect T using the shapes given here. So what I am requesting you is here. So I have given you 5 shapes. Okay. So what you have to do, you have to draw. You keep a sheet of paper what you have with you. Okay. On the screen, on your laptop screen, you keep a sheet of paper, and using the pencil what you have with you, you just draw the same shape in your paper. Okay. So I'm repeating it. There are 5 shapes given on my screen. So you have a white paper with you. So as I already told you in the initial part of the session, you need to draw the shapes. Okay. You keep that paper on the screen. Okay. You will be able to see the shape in the background, right? So if you keep that paper, the lines will be easily be seen. So I want you to draw the same in your paper by keeping the paper on the screen. I don't want you to draw the shape keeping the paper on your table, because you may miss out the shape, so you may not be able to get into the solution for the problem. So this is the problem actually I'm giving you. So there are 5 shapes given here. Keep a sheet of paper on the screen and draw the same shape, same size, okay, as it is. Okay, draw it, and then you need to cut that paper. So you can tear it out just to that shape. You have to, if you have scissors with you, you can cut that shape, or if you don't have scissors also, no problem. You can just tear the paper for all those 5 pieces of shapes. Okay, and then try to assemble all these 5 pieces and make a T like this.
Yes, sir, I have done it.
You've done that.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to get that perfect T?
Of course it is.
Oh, wonderful, sir. Thank you. So participants, those who are there, you just have a try. So if you could do that, can I have some responses in the chat box? So I think participants are able to chat in the boxes, right?
Be able to chat here. They'll be able to chat in the YouTube or in our channel.
YouTube chat only. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm asking them. YouTube chat, if you can do that, is there any problem? Or I will display my screen once again. So you may try this for next 2 minutes. Okay, just give a try. Some of you might have come across the same activity. Okay, those who have not come across this, you can just give a try. Partha sir, can we give a 5 minutes break? Is there any possibility?
You can break, not an issue.
Okay.
Whether 50 minutes time is there. If you want, you can break. Or I would rather call upon Vishal Kale to share some views. In the meantime, you can break. Not an
Yeah, yeah.
issue.
So what I will do, I will, yeah, I will take 5 minutes break. Yes.
Good afternoon, Partha. Hello.
Yeah, very good afternoon, Vishal.
Yeah, good afternoon, Partha.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you, Partha. Please go ahead.
Yes, Vishal.
You testing sound? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Till
Yeah.
such time, Dr.
Uh,
Sendil Kumar comes back online. Maybe he needs a small break. You can share your views about the prospects with respect to marketing challenges and other aspects as well.
Okay, let me start with a small 30-second introduction of myself. I am an MBA marketing with 9.14 out of 10, 20 years experience spanning logistics, channel sales, B2B marketing, and operations, in mostly into telecom and consumer goods industries, with the early part of my career being in agriculture, agri input marketing. Currently, I look into the agricultural startups that come up for the passion incubation, as well as some consumer related plays. That's about me. Uh, in the past 3 or 4 years, I have handled about 15 startups spanning agriculture, spanning consumer goods, as well as spanning IT services that are somehow related with telecom. That is my profile. Given my experience into both business as well as in my job, uh, what the challenges that I see are not just with the customer acquisition phase, but a lot sooner than that. Uh, I have been launching new products till almost 2004, when I launched Narsingpur town and a couple of other towns for Idea Cellular. So for the past 16 years, I have been launching new products or new services. So, basis this experience, marketing does not start when you have a product that is ready and you're going out into the market. It starts at the product design stage. Fair enough, you have an idea, and the ideas usually are good and innovative. जो मैंने startup में पिछले 3.5 साल में देखा है, I am deeply impressed. You guys do think of fantastic ideas, but the problem comes in the positioning. Okay, the idea may be bad. That's a different issue. That's an entirely different topic altogether. How do you validate the idea? That will, maybe some will take it some other day. But once you have an idea and you have validated to see that the idea is good, where do you place it? To whom do you pitch? If you're taking an idea to the wrong customer. So my first keyword to the startups who are listening to me here is the target segment. Whenever we have failed in the 15 startups, I too have failed around the average for the industry is 80%. I too have failed probably 70-80% of the times. I mean, that's the way the startup industry is. So learning from that, if I compare my successes with my failures, the difference has been the target segment. I remember in one case, I was pitching for a major project that was to be conducted, right? I required some 50 resources to implement that project. Those were online. I had done my preparations, but did I have the bandwidth in the eyes of the target segment to execute that project? Clearly, I did not. It was a 3-year-old startup, and we were simply out of our league. Okay, we crossed 1 or 2 stages, and we got into the final round. But the point is, we wasted 4 months. Now, if I'm in a Tata or an Airtel, I can afford to spend 4 months on a project because I have other revenue streams that can make up my target, and I can go back to the management and say, okay, 3 months were bad. I was after these 3 big projects, but I still achieved 80% of my numbers. That's survival. But in a startup, if you waste 3 months for after a seemingly lucrative uh, scenario, you could get sunk. So the target customer, be it how do you call it? Be it a B2B project or a consumer play, your target segment needs to be defined with far more precision than a larger company. The reason being, a larger company has resources to create a market out of the the adjacent segments. You have one target segment and you have some adjacent segments, आजू बाजू के markets जिसे बोलते हैं. A larger company has the resources to tap into them. As a startup, you don't. Spend time on that product, that service, and that targeting. One of the best, in fact, two of the best startups I know, which are actually now in crores in revenue, spent 2 years on researching their product, getting the target segment right. Thereafter, in the first year, they hit success. So that's my first advice to startups who are listening. Define not just your product and service, validate it, falana dimka, that's fair enough. But have a target segment in mind and don't bother about the size of the target segment. If it's a niche market, scale down your costs. Be at least operating positive, profit positive, and be prepared to pivot when the market is appropriate. So that is number one. Number two, costs. What are the relation of costs in marketing for a company like Airtel ho ya Tata ho ya फिर startup ho, सबके लिए cost is simple. It is your costing uh, when you go into the market. Even for a larger company, I'm facing a competitive scenario, I need to take budget from my headquarters. If I'm not managing my own costs as a business head or as a division head or as a regional head, हाँ हेड से ये चालू होता है, आप लोगों को मालूम है. If you're not managing your costs, the company is going to put in additional budgets to you. Same thing applies in startups. Only thing is you're putting your own money or your investors are putting their own money. Therefore, even in marketing, watch those costs. Always be in the lookout for a more economical alternative to achieve the same objective. This applies both in big companies and small companies, but especially in the small companies. Third, which probably most of you want to listen to, the go to market phase. You've defined your target market, you have managed to find a way to control costs. This is an ongoing activity, by the way, that cost aspect is an ongoing activity. It should be a second habit. The GTM phase. What's different in a startup and in a larger company? Technically nothing, but देखा जाए तो सब कुछ फर्क है. A startup, when it's trying to acquire customers, needs to operate on a multi-channel strategy. And Airtel can afford to place its bet on one channel. A startup, depending on the solution, the product or the service, there may be some products which are actually meant for one channel only. But by and large, you have to have a multi-channel approach both to your advertising, be it Google AdWords or whatever type of advertising you do. The advertising should be multi-channel. Don't depend on one channel. Be in touch with what the digital markets are going. Is Facebook going down? Is the usage on Instagram moving up? Are the niche digital vehicles moving up? That you should be aware of. Do not depend upon your digital marketer for that. You should be aware so that when you sit with your digital marketer, the conversation is of a much higher level. That will enable you to give him a much clearer perspective of what you want. You can't just go and say, I want to market my product. You should be able to be a little bit more specific. I want to market my product in the metro towns of India through the digital space with a rough idea of what you want to do in the digital space. Thereafter, you will be able to cut the wheat from the chaff, and the digital marketer will also be able to respond with much greater excitement because he has got a much clearer target in front of him or her. That is vital. That's the first part of the GTM. Then the second is the approaching the customers. You can't have one strategy alone. Here, let me emphasize this. You can't just go depend on emails. You can't just depend on phone calls. You just can't depend. It has got to be a basket and a niche approach. Reason being your costs. You can't afford to hire 50 people and hope the business will come in. There is a very large company which 3 years ago did exactly that. They hired no less than 2,000 employees. I myself had 150 under me in 5 branches, 5 regions rather, all across West India. The sales did not come in. The sales were there, they were quite decent, but the costs were higher. If we had cut costs at that point in time, this was my first startup, by the way, I'm talking about. It failed big time. I was a region head. I was not one of the founders. I was not a strategic advisor. I was the region head. All India, my management had hired something like 2,000 employees. What happened? The sales did come in, but our costs were exponentially higher. So for a startup, pick out your hole where you can push the product. I'll close with a small example, a real example. There was a company which was, let me put it, since it's a bit confidential, so let me just put it company A and company B, product A and product B. Now, product A was the 80% market share product in the hardcore IT segment, right? They created a strategy that they want to open the non-IT segment for the lower level IT trainings. The problem was their branding was not in line with that. They were known for IT. Their products were known for IT solutions only, both on the product side and on the service side. So, for what happened in the GTM phases, for every 5 calls where one IT product, IT market closure was happening, that conversion ratio went up to 40 to 1, 30 to 1, 25 to 1, depending upon the executive and the manager in charge. You got your positioning wrong. You got your focus wrong. You did not think that product B would also sell more easily the lower level trainings in the IT companies. They too have lower level requirements. It's a niche market. Establish your presence in the niche market first. You were completely unknown in the other segment. Your closure rates would have been a little bit higher. You could have got references and so on and so forth. So the positioning of the product and how broad you are targeting. If you go with a narrow niche and then broaden that niche, you will be able to survive, sustain, prove the scale, and then it will be easier for you to get financing either in form of the loan or in form of a debt financing in form of an equity participation or whatever. You could even have your friends having a lot more confidence in you and saying, okay, let's do this. And lastly, no project is small for a startup. It provides a foothold. There was a time when a company has done a free project for somebody. It was their starting. It was their first project. उन्होंने free में कर दिया. This is a real story, by the way. They went on to become a 200 force company. So no project is small. Always think long term. Think long term, but play short term. And let me close again with costs. 50% of the startups that I know to have closed down because of costs, not because of the quality of the product or the service or the strategy. Control your costs, even in marketing. People can go overboard. Do not do that. That's all from my side. Thank you very much. Maybe someday we will go into the validation of the business idea, which is a significant role in startups. So for now, that's all from my side. I hope I was able to add some value.
Yeah, yes. So kind of you, Vishal, for your thoughtful sharings over here. So now I would request Dr. Sendil to take over from here and continue the session.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
very keen to understand how the tea is found, whether I have done it right or wrong. I want to understand that.
Okay. So that's great. Thank you very much, Partha sir, Vishal sir, for giving me the break of 15 minutes. Thank you very much. So let me proceed further with my session and let me share my screen. Okay. So I hope you can see my screen. Partha sir, I have a
It is.
response from you.
Of course,
Yes.
it is.
Thank you very much, sir. So as I already gave you an activity, okay, in the previous part of the session. So I hope you must have tried assembling all these shapes and making it as a perfect T, right? So if you would have tried, okay, if you would have achieved it, congratulations for you. And if you have not done it, here is the answer, solution. Okay. Okay. So this particular first piece, what I've said here, okay, should be in this way. Okay, so the direction of this particular piece, if you would have made it correctly like this, and you could have achieved it. Okay, so this is how you should be doing this. Why are we doing this activity? So this is for thinking out of box. Sometimes what will happen, the problem which is given to us, we may not think in different dimensions. So we will not arrive at the solution. So solution will be simple. Okay. A lot of times you come across problems in your life, so solution will be very very simple, and we will not have that thought process. So you have to think in a different way, thinking out of box. Okay, you put this particular piece in the center, what I have given initially here, and if you would have put it in the right direction, you would have got this T. Okay, so the learning outcome from this activity is you need to think in different dimensions when you're trying to solve the problem. Initially you might have thought that there will be no solution for the problem, but you might have attempted solving this problem and you might have not achieved the target, I mean the T. Okay, so sometimes this happens in our life also. We come across many problems in our life, in our business. Being an entrepreneur, we become frustrated with the problems. Okay, when you are stressed out with so many things in our mind about the problem, we may not get into the solution. And thinking differently, thinking in different dimensions, okay, will happen only when you are confident about you, and then when you are relaxed. So this is an example. This particular activity might have given you an idea about how problem can be solved easily, right? So next comes challenging assumptions and generating alternatives. So how do you challenge your assumptions? So how are you going to generate alternatives for the solution? So what should you do? Include all involved individuals in the generating of alternatives. So whoever is involved in your project, in your service, what you're providing, and you have to include all of them. Sometimes what will happen, you may come across the solution from a person who has not given any idea about the solution, but eh, during brainstorming, when they are getting involved in your solution making situation, they will try to give you the right solution for the problem. So it will not happen all of a sudden. It may come sometimes from a different person, from a different perspective. And specify alternatives consistent with the organizational goals. Okay, so what is your goal? What are you going to achieve? And you have to specify the alternatives, okay, with organizational goals. And then specify short and long term alternatives. For example, you must be having one solution for the problem. So when I'm talking about alternatives, you have to have the solution, the next solution. If it doesn't work out, what am I going to do? Is there any other solution or alternative solution? So we have a stepney in our car, right? If the main tire is not working, you will use stepney, but you will not run your car with stepney always, right? Stepney can be removed when the main wheel is ready, right? So the same way, the solution alternatives you need to have, because when the main solution doesn't work, you need to have alternatives working for your problem. So you need to specify short and long term. So how long am I going to do this? Whether am I going to proceed with only with this alternative, or is there anything else should I be doing? Okay, is it a short term or long term? That you need to specify. And then brainstorm on others' ideas. This I have already been telling. So you need to have a brainstorming session with your team members, and they will be coming up with so many different ideas which you never thought about. So it happens because each and every individual is unique. We have different talents, different ideas. We have brought up in different cultures, different regions. Okay, so everybody will not have a solution for the problem, and everybody will have a different perspective on the problem, and the solution can also be put in front in different way. Okay, the same problem, the same solution what you have identified can be little customized based on others perspective and ideas. So it will happen only when you have brainstorming with your team members and the people those who are involved in making the solution for the problem, and then seek alternatives that may solve the problem. Okay, So these are the things you need to do. Here, there is a story. Just have a look. When you are challenging assumptions and generating alternatives, you need to keep this story in your mind. The story goes like this: a group of scientists placed five monkeys in a cage, and in the middle, a ladder with bananas on the top. Okay. What happens every time a monkey went up the ladder? The scientists soaked the rest of the monkeys with cold water. Okay, every time there's a monkey which will try to climb the ladder to pick up the banana, and the other monkeys were soaked with cold water. After a while, every time a monkey went up the ladder, the others beat up the one on the ladder, because you climb that ladder, we are getting affected with cold water, so we are not able to tolerate this. So every time somebody is trying to climb, the others are getting soaked to cold water. Okay. So the other monkey started pulling the monkey which is trying to climb the ladder to take the banana. After some time, no monkey dared to go up the ladder regardless of the temptation. Because if somebody is trying, the other people started pulling. Okay, other monkeys started pulling the monkey which is trying to climb, because they are getting affected by the cold water, and nobody is willing to go up because the others were trying to pull even if I climb. So that's what the thinking for all the monkeys started happening, and scientists then decided to substitute one of the monkeys. So here, if you look at this image, there's a new monkey. So one monkey has been replaced with a new monkey. The first thing this new monkey did was to go up the ladder, because it's a new monkey, right? The old monkeys knew that if they try to climb the ladder, they will not be able to, because the other monkeys will try to pull them down. Okay, so that is why the new monkey is introduced here to climb up the ladder, because the new monkey is not aware the other four monkeys will try to pull, and immediately the other monkeys beat him up. So immediately, when the new monkey tried climbing the ladder, the other monkeys started pulling down. So after several beatings, okay, the new member learned not to climb the ladder, even though it never knows why. Okay, a second monkey was substituted, and the same occurred. The first monkey participated on the beating for the second monkey. The third monkey was changed, and the same was repeated, that getting beatings for the other monkeys. The fourth was substituted, and the beating was repeated, and finally the fifth monkey was replaced. So now we have all the monkeys replaced here. So we have all the five monkeys which are new. Okay. Now let's see what happens. What was left was a group of five monkeys that, even though never received a cold shower, continued to beat up any monkey who attempted to climb the ladder. Because the previous monkeys, the old monkeys, thought that when the one monkey is trying to climb up the ladder, other monkeys will try to pull and beat the monkey which is trying to climb the ladder, because they will get soaked water, cold water. Okay, when they introduced new monkeys one by one, and they started following the same strategy, because they were afraid that if somebody is trying to climb the ladder, I will get soaked with cold water, so I should not get that. So I have to try to pull them down, beat them when somebody is trying to do that. And when all the five monkeys are replaced and nobody is trying to climb, because the old five monkeys taught that the new monkeys that you should not climb the ladder. If you climb the ladder, we will beat you. So that was the strategy. So if it was possible to ask the monkeys why they would beat up all those who attempted to go up the ladder, I bet the answer would be, I don't know. The new monkeys are not aware why the old monkeys were trying to pull the monkey which is trying to climb the ladder, because the old monkeys knew that they will get soaked cold water, and the new monkeys are not aware that they will get soaked cold water when somebody is trying to climb the ladder. And these monkeys started following what the old monkeys were doing. So does it sounds familiar? So only two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not so sure about the former. Says said by Albert Einstein. So what I'm trying to tell you from this story is that when we generate alternatives, when we try to implement a solution for the problem in our day-to-day life, in our business, what happens, we implement a solution for the problem and we try to follow the same rule to be followed by every other employee or every other manager who is joining a company newly. Okay, so unless and until the new person who is joining the company is not aware what was happening, what was the history, why this particular rule was created for the problem. Okay, they might have created that particular rule for a different reason. So now it may not be required to implement the same rule, because that problem is not there at all right now. Okay, when the problem is not even there, if you try to follow the rule which was created by somebody 20 years ago, it's called human stupidity. Okay, so we should not be doing that. And as a manager or as a leader, as a business owner, what should we do? We need to analyze completely what was happening, what is the history behind this. So why did they implement this solution for the problem? Is there anything else can I do? Can I remove this rule from my strategy, or should I continue doing this? If the problem is still going on, then I can continue implementing the same strategy or the new rule which has been created by somebody. Okay, that has to be thoroughly analyzed, okay, before getting into the problem and solving the problem. When you come across any other problem, the you have already recorded, documented the the strategy what you have applied for the problem, and same can be used for the problem which is going to come in future. So the learning is you should analyze before doing anything. Okay, so then comes key issues and pitfalls in problem solving. Okay, so pitfall number one: wrong people involved. Your best man for the job might be disappearing under work. So but if the problem is strategically significant to the business, it should be more important to clear its debt than to find someone else. Okay, the best man may disappear. So the person who is solving the problem actually during a difficult situation, if he is running out or he is going away from the problem, so you will not be able to solve the problem. So it will be a pitfall when you are trying to solve the problem. Okay, you need to identify who is the right person to solve this problem. So when you are trying to work on creating solution for the problem. The second pitfall, the problem is not clear. So as I already told you in the initial session, so when you try to look at the problem, it will be an indicator. It will only show you 10% of the problem. Okay. The remaining 90% of the problem will be invisible unless and until you analyze it clearly, and you will not be able to see the root cause of the problem. As I already told you, if you don't see the root cause of the problem, if you don't treat the root cause of the problem, your problem will never get solved. You need to look at the root cause of the problem so that you see the clear picture of the size of the problem, and then you try to implement the solution for the problem. Okay, problems need to be articulated clearly to indicate exactly what the issue is. Then comes, there is no data. As I already told you, when you don't document what has happened, when you try to solve the problem, if you don't document it, what will happen when you come across the same problem for the next time? You will have no idea about how are you going to proceed, and it's a loss for the company. Again, there will be a team working on that, and again there will be a strategy to be developed upon, and then there will be people involved in it, and time, energy, money, effort, everything will be waste. So what should you do when you develop a solution for the problem? You need to document it, and you have to keep the complete data. What has happened? How did you find out the problem? What was the discussion? How did you filter the relevant data needed to be considered for solving the problem and generating the solution? And then how did you implement it? During implementation, did you come across any problems? Okay, after implementation, during evaluation, where did you find that the solution what you have implemented was effective, or if it is ineffective, what did you do? Did you generate any other alternatives to solve the problem? All those things should be recorded and documented so that it will be used for future reference. Okay, so without evidence, it will be challenging to show that any new processes are actually an improvement. So it won't be long before people slide back into the old habits. Okay, you tackle the wrong cause, it will be a pitfall again. Addressing the wrong cause is a major issue with problem solving. Okay, this I am already discussed. You should not be. So as I was telling, in terms of my training program, the trainer is effective and trainer has delivered the session and facilitated the activities in an efficient way in the classroom. But the venue of the program, the training where it has happened, it was not effective. The equipments provided, the mic is not clear, the speaker was not clearly audible, the room was very small, participants were unable to move here and there for the activity. Okay, then it will be a failure. So in this case, I cannot go and ask the trainer, I cannot ask the trainer to upgrade yourself, or I cannot blame the trainer for the failure of the program. It is not the fault of the trainer, it is the mistake of the people, those who have provided the menu with wrong equipments. So, or ineffective equipments. Okay, right? So let's go to the next slide. There are tools I'm going to discuss here. Problem solving tools. Okay, 8D tool for problem solving and cause and effect analysis. Fishbone method I'm going to discuss about, and then brainstorming. This is again one of the tool which can be used during problem solving. And 8D tool, what it says? Okay, it says you have to, the first D, it says form a team. Okay, you have to form a team. Problem solving team should be formed. There's a problem you have identified. You need to form a team who are all will be involved in that particular project to generate the solution for the problem. And then describe the problem. Describe it. What's the problem? Define the problem. And then interim containment action. It's a temporary action. For example, take the example of a car. Okay, one tire punctured. You have a stepney. You will be taking that stepney and using that stepney for temporary reason. Okay, you will not be using it continuously. Once the main wheel is ready, okay, and you will again remove the stepney and put it in your dicky, right? So the same way interim containment action it's an action which can be temporarily be implemented and used, and it cannot be used for a long time, because the efficiency of the interim containment action will not be valid for long time. So then you have to come up with a solution which can be applied for long time. Root cause analysis and escape point. Sometimes what will happen, you try to find out the root cause for the problem, and there will be a escape point. Okay, escape point where you miss out the root cause of the problem. So what should you do during that 7-step process what we discussed initially in this session? You need to go back and start doing the steps again and again when you don't find the root cause. So there will be an escape point where you may miss out the root cause. So that case, you will again be treating the temporary problem, and you will not treat the original problem, the root cause of the problem. Permanent corrective action should be taken immediately after implementing the interim containment action. It cannot be continued for a long time, as I already told you. And then implement and validate the permanent corrective action. Okay. So this we have already discussed, implement and validate whether it has worked out, and shall we continue with the solution what we have identified. That should be continue, and then prevent recurrence. Then comes the D8 says closure and team celebration. There's a next tool here. Okay, so it's cause and effect analysis. So step one, what should you do here? Identify the problem. So for example, in this simple example, there is a manager having problems with an uncooperative branch office. Okay, so all other branches are cooperative, but there is one branch which is not cooperative. They are not updating the data. They are not updating the things which are needed for the head office to evaluate. Okay, in this case, what can be done? The step two, work out the major factors involved. For example, manager identifies the problem. I mean, the following factors. So, what are they? Site, where it is located, task, what they are supposed to do in that branch, the roles and responsibilities, and people involved in this, and the equipments they are using for their day-to-day activities should also be analyzed, and then controlled. Okay, how people are getting controlled. Okay, so what is the hierarchy? So all those things should be identified. Now it has been put in a shape called fishbone. That is why this particular tool is called as fishbone method, cause and effect analysis. So you have to put it like this. This is an example. So next step is identify possible causes. So what can be the possible cause? Manager brainstorms possible causes of the problem and adds these to the diagram. That has to be added here. So one by one, see we have written here site, task, people, equipment, control. Okay, for each fishbone, if you see, there are points written there. Reasonably pleasant building, okay, spacious offices or rundown day area, how it is there any crime happening there? Okay, so it this particular image is with the detail. So every fish bone has been explained clearly with possible causes. What could be the reason for the uncooperative branch office? Okay, so if you talk about people here, and there's a name called John here given, so that particular guy is not productive, or he is productive, or other people are not productive, and few people are unmotivated. Okay, there are some other issues. Okay, so it is clearly written here. So this is how it should be written. This particular image is looking like a fishbone. Okay, so that is why this is called as fishbone analysis, fishbone method. So analyze your diagram. So how do you analyze it? And you have to look into each and every part of this diagram and have detailed discussion about the people, those who are involved in solving the, I mean, problem, solving the problem and generating the solution, right? So here, if you can read this, the manager has now finished his or her analysis, and he had not looked at the problem this way. Okay, so which is given here in this previous image, and then instead he or she thinks that the best approach is to arrange a meeting with the branch manager. This would allow him or her to brief the manager fully on the new strategy and talk through any problems that they may be experiencing. Okay, and then the third tool called brainstorming. So initially there are three tools I told you. 8D tool, the first 8D tool we saw, and then second method was fishbone analysis, where you put a diagram in the form of a fishbone, where you write the major factors involved in uncooperative branch. Okay, so and then each and every factor should be explained clearly with the sub branches. So that is called fishbone method for cause and effect analysis. And then the third one is called as brainstorming. Guidelines for conducting brainstorming session. What should you do during brainstorming? Assembling group members, those who are interested in participating, and then present a problem to them. So present the problem, actual issue, what is the problem should be presented to them, and then ask them, encourage them to propose a solution without cutting them out. Okay. So sometimes when you're discussing people, there are people, they will be giving irrelevant information, or the solution may not be feasible or applicable for the problem what you have identified. And even then you have to consider all their inputs and record it in a sheet of paper, in a document, so that in the initial part of the session, as I already told you, sometimes you may come up with a solution from a different person. You might have not expected this solution will come from this particular person. Okay, that will happen. So sometimes you may think initially that this solution will not work out, but in a later period of time, over a period of time, you may think that this solution is the right solution, which can be implemented. Okay, after thorough analysis. So that is why during brainstorming session, what should you do? You need to write down all the possible discussions, all the solutions, ideas which are being projected during the session should be written in a document, and then consolidate all of them and evaluate these proposals, solutions to identify the appropriate ones. And then you can go for the next step called filtering the solutions, and taking the major elements from the discussion, and then consider it for generating the solution for the problem. Okay. So thank you very much. Now this session has got over. Let's get into the next part of the session. Okay, that is called teamwork. Okay. So am I audible? Is it going good? So can I have some responses from Partha sir?
Excellent, doing well.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much, sir. So shall I continue with the teamwork?
please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So we will have a look quickly, because shortage of time. We have only half an hour more to be completed. So let me go through these slides quickly. Okay. So teamwork is needed everywhere. Okay. We need to understand what are the things you need to follow when you're working in a team. What kind of behavior should you project when you're working in a team? How can you become a better team player? Okay. So all those things we will be discussing in this session. Okay. And then let's get into the introduction part of the session. A team is a group of individuals working together to achieve the goal. Okay. Together everyone achieves more. That's the expansion for team. Okay. Together, everyone. So everyone together, when I say, you need to have a vision, and everybody should be working on the vision what we have decided, right? Suppose for example there are three people working for the vision, and two people disagreed the strategy, the method what they are going to follow to achieve that goal. So what will happen? It's not a team, it's a group. There are two groups in a team, and they have different perception, opinions, and which is not applicable for the team to work further. So which is not advisable for the team to work further. So what should you do? You need to bring to the conclusion that everyone is working on the vision which has been decided by the team. Okay. And then a group of people. So what is a team? It's a group of people with different skills, different tasks, who work together on a common project, service, goal, with a meshing of functions and mutual support. For example, Virat Kohli is a wonderful player. He's a batsman, right? If we have 11 Virat Kohlis in Indian cricket team, can you play? Can you win? You cannot win. 11 Virat Kohlis cannot make a team. We need to have somebody called Shikhar Dhawan. We need to have somebody called Hardik Pandya. We should have all-rounder. We should have bowlers like Bumrah. We need to have spinners. We need to
huh?
have middle order players. Okay, that is when it becomes a team, right? So the definition, if you see a group of people with the different skills and different tasks, okay. So each and every person in a team have a different perception about the problem, different perception about the discussion, okay, different idea, different ability, different skill, okay. When you put all of them together, the together team achieves. Okay. So it's a definition for the team. Why team? Individually we are smart, but collectively we are brilliant. As an individual, I may be smart, I may be talented in few things, but I cannot perform better in every aspect, every activity. For example, I may talk well, but I may be lacking in something. I may not play table tennis well. Okay, I may not be talented in that, but it doesn't mean that I'm talented in everything. I'm not talented in everything. It means I have some abilities, skills in me, which I can contribute for the team. The other person has some extraordinary skills and abilities, and he can contribute or she can contribute that ability for the team, and collectively we become successful. We are brilliant. Okay. So here is a story which you might have heard already, and I will just go through this story quickly. Tortoise and hare story. So what has happened? Once upon a time, tortoise and hare had an argument about who was faster. Okay, they decided to have a race. And initially, what happened? This had felt that I'm faster than this tortoise. I will take the rest sometime on, and then I can proceed with my race. And it went into deep sleep, and tortoise reached the goal. Okay, this was the story we have already learnt about from childhood, right? Okay, what's the learning outcome from this story? Its moral of the story is slow and steady wins the race. And I'm going to explain the two different versions of the same story. Here, if you look at this, hare went to tortoise and asked for the second race because first race tortoise won. So this time, what this rabbit is doing? Let me not slip this time. I will win the race. So this time, when they had a race, this hare won the race. So what's the moral of the story? Fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. For example, if you have two people in your organization, one slow, methodical, and reliable, and the other fast and still reliable at what he or she does, the fast and reliable chap will consistently climb the organizational ladder faster than the slow and methodical chap. See, in olden days, if you see, there are people they will teach other people that you have to be slow and steady because it was applicable. For example, it's 25, 30 years back. If you go, slow and steady people, they are successful in their life even now. Now, if you are slow and steady for current trend, you will not be successful as you expect. And those who are fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. That's the learning. It's good to be slow and steady, but it's better to be fast and reliable. The next version of the story comes here. This time, what happens? This tortoise goes to hare and asks, "So let's have one more race." And this time, this tortoise again thinks, it will never be able to beat me because the first time I slept, and it thinks that again and again I will sleep and it will never happen, and it starts going for a race. And this time, this tortoise has kept a race in a route where there's a river. So tortoise can swim, but this rabbit could not swim, and because of which it stayed, and tortoise was able to cross the river and achieve the goal. And this had traveled for long distance in short period of time, and could not achieve the race because it could not swim. And tortoise took a lot of time to travel on the land and traveled on the river for little time because it is having a skill called swimming. Okay. So from this story, what is the moral? First, identify your core competency. This tortoise identified its core competency, that is swimming. So, for example, you have a extraordinary skill and ability when you compare to other person, and you should work on that particular competency. And you should not try to work on the competency which the other person is performing better. You, in your gene or in your ability, you may be good at something, and that has to be nurtured and developed in you. That should be identified by you. For example, in an organization, if you are a good speaker, make sure you create opportunities to give presentations that enable the senior management to notice you. So in business, what how can you apply this strategy? In business, you have a team of people working for your company, and you need to identify who is good at what. And everybody cannot be brilliant and everything, isn't it? And each and every one of your team members should be having some or the other ability which is extraordinary when compared to other people. Okay, that has to be properly identified as a business owner and nurtured. And when you encourage them doing that, and those people will be representing your organization that for that particular ability. Or, for example, this presentation can be given by them, right? So next comes, so what's the moral of the story? Working to your strengths will not only get you noticed, but will also create opportunities for growth and advance. So next race, there's a next race. This time what happens, tortoise and hare had a discussion, and why don't we have this race together? And this tortoise is telling hare that you're taking very less time to reach the river, and you are unable to cross the river because you cannot swim. But I am unable to walk fast or run fast because my ability is walking slow. That is my weakness. But why don't we two of us make it as a strength? And rabbit started lifting the tortoise and started running the land distance. The river distance has been covered by tortoise. The tortoise rabbit was climbing on tortoise, and both of them were able to cross the river in short period of time. So for example, if the rabbit takes 2 minutes time to walk on the land, and it will never be able to cross the river because it cannot swim. Okay, so if tortoise does that race individually, it can take a lot of time to cross the land, and river part can be crossed in short period of time, and it can reach the race but with a lot of time. When both of them together work, what happens? They can complete the race in few minutes. So that is what the learning outcome from this particular story. It's good to be individually brilliant and to have strong core competencies, but unless you are able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you will always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you will do poorly and someone else does well. Okay. So teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant core competency for a situation and take leadership. Okay. So there are more lessons from this story. Okay. Note that neither the hare nor the tortoise gave up after failure. Okay. The hare decided to work harder and put in more effort, and after his failure, the tortoise changed his strategy because he was already working as hard as he could. Okay. So in life, when faced with failure, sometimes it is appropriate to work harder and put more effort. Sometimes it is appropriate to change the strategy like a tortoise and try something different. Okay. So, and sometimes it is appropriate to do both. The hare and tortoise also learned another vital lesson called when we stop competing against a rival and instead start competing against the situation we perform for better. For example, recently I attended a session where we were discussing about how can I make my business better than Amazon. Somebody was telling I'm planning to implement delivery speed and provide good purchasing experience compared to Amazon. Okay, so there was a trainer. He was telling, "Why do you want to compete with Amazon? Amazon is already a very big brand, and they have a wonderful strategy, and been they have been successful for the past many years. and why don't you collaborate with them and then work together, and you can also share their business or delivery whatever they are providing, or when they purchase, when the stock is being delivered from one place to another. For example, if it comes from Mumbai to Chennai, and you know, for example, if they take, if it takes only less, the container 50% filled, your product can be filled 50%, and you can both of them bring it to Chennai, and you can save a lot of money. So you should not be competing with the brand owners already, those who have been successful for the past few years, and you can compete, but instead of that, if you collaborate, you will be more successful than them. Okay, it may happen. So initially collaboration is the better opportunity. So that is when I remember this particular story. So instead of competing, collaboration can be thought about, okay, in teamwork. That may save your time, energy, effort. Okay, so to sum up, never give up when faced with failure. Fast and consistent will always beat slow and steady. Work to your competencies, compete against the situation, not against rival. Okay, pooling resources and working as a team will always beat individual performance. Okay, so so there is an activity here. So let me show. There's a video. There's a video. I did this activity in my office. Okay, it's been a long time. Let me share this video. Just have a look at this. Okay, so you have to. So the continuation video, I'm showing it here. Just have a look. You have to keep your properly. Don't ask us to be okay. Sorry. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this activity. Okay, so what have you learned from this activity? From this activity, what have you learned? So the lesson is, when you support each other, okay, as an individual, you cannot sit without chair. Okay, and when you support each other, and you can stay there for a long time, so that is when this teamwork is better than a individual performance. Okay, so I think you can hear me. Let me check with Partha sir. So am I online? Is it
Of
audible?
course, you are very much online. It is audible.
Yes, yes, sir. So I will be finishing in few minutes, sir. Thank
No
you. Let
problem.
me continue. Yeah.
76.
So there are roles and responsibilities of a team. Okay, you need to participate actively when you're working in a team, and respect each other's contribution. Because why am I telling you to respect each other's contribution? Because you cannot be brilliant on everything. For example, here and start Tata's story, we learned that Hare is capable of running faster than tortoise, but tortoise is again capable to swim. Okay, well, each and everyone has some other ability, different abilities in us, and when we collaborate all those abilities together as a team, we will definitely win. Okay, listening carefully and ask questions. Okay. So you need to be enthusiastic, work for consensus on decisions, or you have to come to the consensus before getting into the project. And if you have people, those who are not interested in your vision, your strategy, your methodology, working on the project, and you have to convince them, and you need to bring them to your vision, or you go to their vision or methodology, strategy. So when you do that, so all of you will be working for one particular vision, which can be achieved easily with your team's cooperation, and then committed to team objectives. Okay. And then comes adaptability is one of the most important skills which you need to have as a team member when you're working in a team. Adaptable team players are teachable. So when I say adaptable team player, it's not that accepting everything whatever the other person is saying. So how do you approach? How do you change your approach for the person who is aggressive? Okay. How do you motivate the person who is passive in your team? How do you become an assertive person? Okay. So that is called adaptability. Adaptability team players are emotionally secure. Adaptable team players are creative. Adaptable team players are service minded. Okay. So when I say adaptable person, I can relate this particular adaptability, the ability called adaptability, with the assertiveness skill. In communication, there are three types of behaviors we have. One is assertive, passive, and aggressive. Okay. So passive people will always be quiet and they will not talk anything during discussion. Even if they are all hurt by somebody else in the team, they will not talk anything. Okay. Passive people will be interested only in others' satisfaction. They will be interested in very less in their satisfaction. Okay. So what about aggressive people? Aggressive people will always try to dominate other people. During discussion also, they will try to dominate the conversation. They will always tell people, other people, hey, please, you sit down. You don't talk. Let me talk. Okay. They will try to dominate the conversation and put people down, those who are there with them. Okay. What assertive people will do? Assertive people will always fight for the rights of everybody. Okay. When as an assertive person, suppose if I am assertive, what will I do? I see somebody who is passive, I will help the passive person to come up, and I will motivate, encourage that person to share his or her opinion. When I see somebody who is aggressive, I will tell that aggressive person, you are aggressive. I will not allow that person to dominate me as an assertive person. Okay. So you need to be an assertive person to become adaptable team player. I will give you one more example. See, there are four pieces of cakes. I have five people, including me. Okay, if I'm passive, what will I do? I will give four pieces to four people. I will not take everything because I'm interested only in others' satisfaction. I respect others more than me. If I'm hurt by other people, I will not worry because I'm passive. I will give four pieces to four people. I will not take anything. Okay, as a passive person. If I am aggressive, what will I do? I will give two pieces to four people. I will divide into four and give two pieces I will take for me because I want more. Okay. I should be respected more when compared to others. I need more. Okay. I should be respected more. I should be satisfied more when compared to other people. If I am assertive, what will I do? As an assertive person, the same example, there are four pieces of cake, four people including me. What will I do? I will give four pieces to four people. I will take small share from every one of them so that I will also get my share. So I look for equivalent rights. I respect myself, I respect others. When I see somebody who is passive, I will help them becoming assertive. When I see somebody who is aggressive, I will make them understand they are aggressive. I will not allow them dominating the conversation. Okay. I fight for equivalent rights. So when you are an assertive person, you become an adaptable team player. Okay. So then comes Adaptability, there are few more slides to be discussed here. How to become a more adaptable team member, making a learning habit. Okay, reevaluate your role in the team, think outside the box. Okay, so what do you mean by make learning a habit? Make a learning habit. Always look for new things to learn and share it with your friends or colleagues and reevaluate. So look at your current role. Is there anything else you can do better than what you are already doing? For example, recently we had a issue with the Indian cricket team. That is, we did not have a better keeper. Okay, after Dhoni, and that is when we found KL Rahul playing better. Okay, he is a better batsman and he is playing good in keeping also. So that issue was there after Dhoni, who is going to replace that particular position. We were thinking, and it has happened because the team members' abilities have been re-evaluated. That is when we found this, right? So do not think of reasons why something cannot be done, but think of how it can be done. Okay. So you should not be looking for the problems, and you should be looking for the solutions for the problem. And there are few more points to be discussed here. Traits of a good team player. You have to communicate constructively as a team player, listen actively, function actively, share openly. And so all these points, if you look at, so these all these points are telling you should be an assertive person. So exhibit flexibility, show commitment, good problem solver, respectful. Okay, be respectful for yourself as well as others. Okay, so be reliable. So these are the few points, and then five critical factors of team's success here, and team collaboration. Okay, so there's an image. If you can see that image, it's a shared vision. The vision is being shared with all the team members. They are looking at the one vision. Okay, team collaboration. You need to gain some leadership traits. So as a team player, sometimes you may be given an opportunity to lead a team. Okay, shared vision, attitudes, proper attitude. You should be committed towards what you're doing. There should be a mutual trust. Okay, and show your talent at the right time. Why am I discussing so many things from cricket? Because I like cricket. Okay, I watch cricket not only to spend my time. I motivate myself from the things which are happening in cricket. Okay, so what's happening here? If you look at this GIF image, so what's happening there? The batsman is taking his leg little up and putting back on the crease. So in that particular point of time, so Dhoni takes a wicket. So if Dhoni is little faster, and he would have not taken that wicket, and he waits for him to take his leg up, and you should have this particular ability in you. Show your talent at the right time, and it's not that you should show your talent always. So when it is needed, where it is needed, you have to do that, right? And find out where do you fit. Okay, so you need to find out whether are you fitting at the right place. Okay, are you contributing at the right time for the team. And then, so here is a strategy. It has happened last year. If you look at this image, okay, so what are you getting from this image? It's a teamwork, right? Just have a look at this. So if you look at this image, Jasprit Bumrah was the best bowler in this match, in this particular match. Okay. So if you look at on the right side of the right side column, so Mohammad Shami, Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav. These people have taken wickets. Mohammad Shami took 4 wickets. Ravindra Jadeja took 2 wickets. Kuldeep Yadav took 1 wicket. Bumrah, he could not take any wickets. Okay. But you look at this image, Jasprit Bumrah bowled 10 overs and gave out 38 runs and economy 3.8 compared to any other bowler in this team. Okay, what has happened actually, because in this match, Jasprit Bumrah was creating pressure on batsmen. Every next over which is being bowled by other bowler, he was able to take wicket because the batsman is under pressure. Batsman was Batsmen were very conscious that they should not get out in Bumrah's over, because Bumrah is a world class player and he will definitely take wicket. I should not get out. So that was the motto of the batsmen. But whereas the other people were able to take wickets because of Bumrah's pressure. Bumrah has put on pressure on batsmen. So now, if you look at this image, do you say that Bumrah did not play well? Bumrah's contribution was a major contribution in this match. That is when we won this match. So what I'm trying to tell you is that your contribution may be invisible sometimes, but you are a team player and you have to contribute. So here is an example: contribute your skill for the team first. Here, what happens in this particular match? So England and West Indies played. This is Test cricket. So England scored 285 in the first innings, second innings 422, and first innings itself, this fellow Brian Lara, not first innings, it was the second innings. Brian Lara, England played first, and then second, West Indies played their first innings, and Brian Lara, he wanted to score 400 runs. So he declared his match when he scored 400 runs. That is, the team scored 751-5 declared. Okay. So after that, they could not win this match because of this fellow called Brian Lara, because he wanted to show his individual talent in this match, because he was the captain of the match. So they would have won that match if they would have declared early. Okay, that's a learning from this. So always be connected with the team even if you don't have a role to play. And I know I have the talent to bat Shardul Thakur after match winning cameo in Katak. So this is another one example I'm giving you. Okay, Shardul Thakur, he is again a talented player, and he took 17 runs from 6 balls to win Indian cricket team. Okay. So this is the snapshot of the news I've provided here. So we have come to the end of the session. I hope you enjoyed this session. Okay, I have delivered as much as possible I can. Okay, so let
Excellent.
me. Yeah.
Excellent. Especially your new concept about the tortoise and hair, and
Okay.
also this teamwork, people sitting without a chair. Those are really mind provoking. I
Thank you,
have,
sir.
I have a small question. It's not a doubt exactly. See, there are
Okay.
two things. One is an individual's attitude. The other one is aptitude. So much so, aptitude is a cognitive skill which can be molded up. What
Yes.
is that a person without aptitude can do?
Attitude. Uh,
Aptitude, of course, it can be tried. Attitude doesn't have.
Attitude, okay. See, right attitude should be nurtured. Okay, that should happen by the team leader has to train people on attitude first. See, if there is no attitude, even if you are performing better in aptitude, you cannot be successful in your life. It may go for a short period of time. It may look like you are successful, but in a long term, okay, you cannot be successful. So attitude plays an important role in one's life, that they are becoming successful in terms of professional life as well as personal life.
So
If
why
you would
I
have
am
seen,
asking, I
yes,
have seen many people like you. Okay, father has money and he opens a shop for his son, maybe a hotel he opens for his son and gives up. And the son doesn't go there. He puts up the employees, like he goes there as if like he wants to go there only to count the money daily collection or whatever it is, I find that invariably within 100 days, that is, I am telling that because there is one saying in Gujarati,
Okay.
if business doesn't succeed in 100 days, close it on 101st day. So it happens practically. I have seen many people like inviting the cine stars or maybe the MLA, MP, and so on. And fourth month, the shop or the business is not to be seen because they
Hmm.
lack
Yes.
the basic attitude. So,
True.
how this can be overcome? Is it
Yeah.
inherent thing can be done, or maybe the self-realization is required and he has to recoup himself and then come back? Or is there
No,
any remedy?
yeah, there is a remedy. There is a remedy. So, what, as an individual, suppose if I have any attitude issues, what I have to do, I have to come across many training programs. I should attend many training programs. I should lot of books on attitude, self development. There are many books available in the market. Okay, they can read those books, and before going to sleep, if they read 10 pages every day for a few months or few years, what will happen? Their attitude will definitely be completely changed, and it will be a wonderful attitude, and which will be accepted by the society, and that attitude will definitely bring them success. So that is this is one idea where they can improve their attitude and reading books, and the other one is attending training programs, soft skill training programs. See, nowadays companies are providing soft skills training programs to fine tune their employees' attitude. Okay, so when the employees are having very good attitude, and it will not show the direct result for the company, but it plays an important role in the success of the company. That I can surely tell you. Okay, so we need to provide a lot of training programs for our employees where their attitude is being nurtured with the leadership qualities, teamwork abilities, time management skills, decision making skills. Okay, then self motivation, self awareness, all these activities once done, very often it has to be conducted in office setup. Okay, so it's like a break. So we are taking break in between the session, tea break we are taking, right? So what are we doing actually during the break? We are resting ourselves from what we are actually doing. So there is a famous saying called successful people do not relax in chair, they relax in work, right? So that's the thing which we need to follow to keep a better attitude and becoming successful as a business owners and entrepreneurs. Okay, we
Exactly.
should not be taking rest in between. So suppose I'm taking a session here, so I'm taking a break. I had 2 3 calls, which should be done. So I did that in about 5 minutes time and came back. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Balaji did
that's,
tell me, okay, you may get bit delayed. So that is the reason why I could rope in Vishal Kale. He was not there in this session. So as a standby, I called him. But
yeah,
since
okay,
you managed to join on time, we said, okay, he
yeah,
should
yeah,
also be
yes, yes.
in the break. Definitely helped us to give him an opportunity. Otherwise, it would have been embarrassing for us also. So
So
thank you, Sandil. It has been a very useful session for the startup, basically, how this
thank
can
you very
be
much.
folded up. And we are working on a separate mission to
Okay,
empower the rural folks. Next mission is on that. We have a concept called Kalam Bazar, which is going to empower exclusively these deserving people, rather the rural segment, who needs a platform to promote their business and their livelihood.
sure, sure, sir.
So
Definitely, my contribution will be there.
definitely, that is, I am taking it for granted. Of course,
Sure.
Balaji is very much involved in that. So I'm thanks you once again for your valuable time and sparing in between your busy schedule, Mikey. And
Thank you very much for the opportunity, sir.
thank you, thank you. Okay,
So,
so looking
thank you.
forward
Thanks
to
a lot.
have you on board again and again. Okay,
Sure,
Thank
definitely we can. Yeah, provided the information comes early and my
Yeah, yeah.
timings are
I
matching.
do appreciate. I do appreciate. I'll
Sure,
talk to you offline why this stopgap arrangement has to be done. I'll talk to you offline and we'll work out a planned way. We'll work out. Okay.
sure, definitely we'll do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for it.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you all the participants, those who have attended this training program.
Excellent.
Thank you, Partha sir, Vishal sir. So thank you. Let's work together and do many achievements. And as you said, we will also work on rural projects. My contribution will definitely be there, and awaiting for your responses. Thank you,
Definitely.
sir. All the very
Thank
best
you.
for all the business owners and
So,
entrepreneurs.
thank you. For the benefits of the viewers, we are going off air for an hour for a break, and we'll be back at 2:30 with Dr. A.K. Singh, the Deputy General Manager of NIC, National Informatics Center. So please do join us at 2:30 IST.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you.